I mean, Dustin.
Check, check, check. 1, 2.
I'm
Not this loud.
I'm doing a check, check, check. Curtis, give me a check, check, check.
Check, check, check. Silas.
Yes, like peanut butter.
Oh yeah, go turn
Peanut butter
turn
spread
down.
on a toasted piece of bread. Curtis's voice.
Yeah. Okay, I think we're all good. We got.
I always thought I had a weird voice. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, it's like
when I hear, you know, that's everybody. When you hear your voice, it's like, oh my, that's
I
sound so weird.
I sound like a fucking dork.
They can hear us, by the way.
Sound like a
we're
dork.
not muted,
Yeah.
muted,
That's
but
good.
yeah, we got 2 viewers. That's good. You guys could start commenting in the old what you call it.
Who has the best voice?
I would say Curtis.
I think so too. I don't know. I'm kind of used to your voice, Clint.
Yeah, but y'all can sing with y'all's voices. Whenever I say, well,
some would say I could. Some would say I couldn't.
The next big thing is here. I'm a voiceover guy, man.
Yeah.
And a lead singer. Of course, I think I have the best voice.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
It's funny because it's true.
Yeah, I just talk for 8 hours a day. That's the only reason mine's reasonable.
Yeah, Curtis.
I've actually had to enunciate for 8 hours a day.
That's a humble
for
brag. And also a little bit of a burn on you, Clint, I think.
You think so? This is like the pregame conversations. That we don't have any comments or reactions yet. I hope that's not broken.
I used to very much speak mumblish, and I'd just be like, and like, you know, my friends could understand me for sure, but I've had to enunciate a lot more being a educator, so it has definitely helped.
All right. The voice that is in children's heads when they need to cross multiply and divide. Curtis Baker.
The voice they will learn to hate. And so whenever y'all are reading, do you hear your own voice or do you hear the characters' voices?
Yeah, I'm a real visual person, so I think I make character voices in my head, but I'm more like, it's almost like how dreams are. You know, dreams are people are talking, but maybe they're also not talking. Like, it's like more of a playing out a movie.
Absolutely.
Like more pictures. I'm an extremely visual person. In fact, if I had to choose between the two, I would prefer to not have hearing rather than being blind. Honestly, I couldn't. I don't think I could hang like without visual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Clint.
So too.
Clint made a face. Is kind of like, oh,
that's hard.
I'm a musician. I would need my ears. Me, I've heard enough. You know what I mean? Heard enough in life. I'm good. I'm good, but I want to see new stuff.
I think you're right, Dustin. Hey, look at me moving the graphics around.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think it's time to give these guys a show. What do you guys think?
Yeah. Coming to
Oh yeah. Okay, well, let's do this. Okay, hold on.
Chris Clint, can you give us a text if you're
with
us, buddy?
Somebody, we got
somebody reach out and touch us somewhere.
I wonder how the
appropriate or otherwise.
Rajneesh is in the house.
Rajneesh.
Yeah, we got Raj in the chat.
Hey guys, just got here. I don't see James in here. I'm wondering if we're getting our Facebook comments are popping in here.
Did you miss me last week, Rajneesh?
There was almost a riot. I don't know what it.
No, there wasn't. You guys, like, all the trains ran on time. I was like, I listened to it like after the fact, like driving around doing work, and I was like, God damn, they are amazingly on topic and on point. I must be the fucking.
The trains ran, but not on time.
Yeah,
definitely not on time.
You know,
that was the storm's fault.
Yeah,
me and Clint were both like, we were actually going to be on time. Like we were set and ready to go at 8, and then God was like, nope, not happening.
I thought about roughing the storm, but then I thought that's going to be a hard thing.
All right, yeah, we're getting YouTube and Facebook comments. Now we're gonna hit the go button and pretend we're professionals. All right, guys.
This is a backstage pass, baby.
That's right.
That's what she said. Curtis.
All right, here we go. Dustin.
Hello.
Hello there. Hey, what's up, gang? It's Clint. I'm back with another episode of Versus. I want to welcome you guys. It's going to be an incredible show tonight. We're going to be talking about all the good stuff. We've got The Lost Boys versus Fright Night. Plus, we're going to be talking about Squid Game, and we're going to be doing a spoiler review discussion of Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage. It's going to be a good time. Plus, there's some interesting things happening in the news. There's horror news, and there's interesting industry news. We're going to talk about it. So, before we get into that, guys, I need you to like, share, subscribe, click that notification bell, please, and tell your friends about us. Man, let's get these guys, and I hope you don't have a green screen when I pop you in here, Dustin. I thought I had this thing looking legit.
If not, just tell everybody I'm on the set of The Mandalorian Season 3.
All right. Whoa, hey.
All right.
Yeah, here we are, guys. We are here. The gang is with me. I got Dustin with me, and I got CB3, Curtis Baker, and Dustin, where's your name at? Curtis, how you doing tonight, man?
I'm Venom.
I'm doing very well. How are y'all doing?
Excelente, man.
Doing good.
And Dustin, how about you, brother?
I'm doing awesome.
Yeah.
It's my name, right on time.
And Venom, how are you doing? I'm doing very well. All right.
Boom.
So
Boom.
yeah, and let's talk to these people in the chat. We've got we've got my first Patreon ever. Bobby! What is up, Bobby?
Bobby.
This is the last time ever, Bobby. She asked, Clint, could you stop doing the air horn? People are going to hate me when I pop on here. So just one for old time's sake. This is the last one. Bobby! Thank you so much. We appreciate you, Bobby. And who else is out there? Rajneesh Sharma in the house. What's up, Rajneesh? Also screaming Bobby, because Bobby gets all the love. And she says, hi, Raj, and I'm so glad we got y'all here tonight. Man, this was a fun lineup. You know, I'd never seen Fright Night. Never seen the movie, and I was watching it, and I go, okay, what old horror shenanigans am I going to get into, and how good is this going to be? And I was like, okay, and it got going, dude, and I was like, yeah, I like this. It pulled me in. I felt like a kid again, man. It was like I had a really, really good time in this movie, and it was just super fun. It was super, super fun, and I enjoyed it. How about you guys? Have you seen that movie recently? Any of you guys, or was it since high school or childhood or whatever? You know, like when was the last
elementary school for me? 1985.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
It's
man.
been that long? Oh,
No,
wow.
I mean, I saw it since then. I'll
okay.
rewatch Lost Boy. I like The Howling and Lost Boys and all the Fright Nights. I like the Hunger. You remember The Hunger? I like all those like werewolf and vampire movies. Silver Bullet. Any werewolf or vampire movie, I always like watch it. I like the different takes. It's kind of like zombies. Like different directors, different writers have hot takes on this stuff.
Well, and I need to rewatch The Howling. Or just a good. We got one lined up,
Some of
but
them
a good
don't-
werewolf.
Yeah,
A
some
good
of them
werewolf
don't
movie in
hold up.
general. It's been a while. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, yeah.
It's tough. I'm gonna say
I-
Danny Boyle, Dog Soldiers, honorable mention on werewolf movies.
That's a very good one.
I haven't even seen
Even-
that. I don't even know what that
Fucking
is.
good.
Yeah. It's almost like they're speaking another language, but they're
'Cause they're
speaking
Scottish.
English.
It's like Train Spotting, but
Control.
they actually cleaned up the accents for Train Spotting because they thought it'd be released in the U.S. For fucking Dog Soldiers, it's like totally domestic, like fucking the moon.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
Well,
it's good.
what did I mean? Man, that just got loud. I feel like all of a sudden I'm gonna check my audio real quick.
I think you're just Conganas,
because we are
man.
speaking Scottish.
maybe
yeah.
that's it.
No,
How
I
we
wanna
sounding
get-
out there? Rajneesh has a pretty good head on his. He's a good estimator. Is that a good? I don't know. I don't even know how to.
He's a good judge of things.
That's what I'm trying to say, Rajneesh. How we sounded, dude? Is anybody a little too loud?
yeah.
Anybody not loud
Whenever I
enough?
was playing music, I always looked to Larry. Larry,
There
how's
we
it
go.
sound? Larry would like tell you, give the God's honest truth.
Oh,
good or
Larry will
bad.
say, "Dude, you
Yeah.
were terrible
Any-
tonight."
any
No, I mean
questions
just so the
here?
guitar's loud enough, whatever. Larry's like,
Audio is excellent. Okay, great.
all right, Thanks,
Cool.
Rajneesh.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's talk about some Fright Night, man. Let's talk about some Fright Night.
You
Fright Night.
do you?
This is the amazing movie poster for Fright Night. What were you going to say, Dustin?
I was gonna say, do you have some notes at the top? Anything you wanted to really hit about Fright Night? Because I actually know a good bit about this movie. It's one of my favorite. I forget his name, but he's directed a bunch of really cool 80s stuff. The same director. He actually wrote more than he directed, I think. But he did Chucky. Did a bunch of other really good stuff.
Yeah. I was looking for
Tom
the.
Holland.
Yeah.
Tom Holland was the director. Yeah. And he did a bunch of good ones. Go ahead.
He supposedly
Dustin.
wrote this in like a couple of days or something like that.
Mhm.
The script, he's just like thought of like what would be the funniest premise to have, and it was like kind of low budget at the time, and it like made way more money. It actually was like a breakout hit. They did was it Warner Brothers or somebody like that? They didn't know it was going to be the hit it was going to be, and they made several lesser, sequels because of that. But this one is great, and the characters are really good. I think right off the top, what differentiates it from other '80s hot take vampire movies is this was more a traditional Dracula story, a seductive, elder statesman vampire comes into town, and you even got the Van Helsing type character as well.
Yeah, but the synopsis is Fright Night. Well, first of all, I didn't know that Spider-Man had anything to do with Fright Night, which is it's amazing. But if you read here, it says Fright Night is a 1985 American comedy horror film written and directed by Tom Holland. I didn't even know Tom Holland was that old, but that's
Yeah.
amazing. In his directorial debut, and produced by Herb Jaffe. It stars Chris Sarandon, who I wonder if Chris Sarandon's related to
Susan.
Susan Sarandon.
That's Susan's ex-husband. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
They-
Okay. William Ragsdale, Roddy McDowell, Amanda Burrs, Jonathan Stark. I didn't know Iron Man was in this either. Dorothy Fielding, Stephen Jeffries, and Art Evans. The film follows a young Charlie Brewster who discovers that his next door neighbor. I just remembered a screenshot that I took. I'm gonna have to upload into the system. Next door neighbor Jerry Dandridge is a vampire. When no one believes him, Charlie decides to get Peter Vincent, a TV show host who acted in films as a vampire hunter, to stop Jerry's killing spree. It was a really fun movie. Okay, I'm passing the baton to somebody else to talk about this movie for a minute. Go for it.
I think it's just cool that the bad guy, I think this movie's before Princess Bride, and the vampire bad guy, Jerry's like the dickhead prince from Princess Bride. He's just as smug. He's just as smug and a foil as he is in Princess Bride. And just
Absolutely.
as smarmy.
He makes the movie perfect. I mean, he's a classical vampire, like you were saying. He's very, very much, the older statesman, classical vampire. And at the same time, he's, at least for the time, cool and,
He's got a sports car.
yeah,
dances in the club.
exactly. Like he knows what gets the victims in the door. And he just nailed it.
Curtis, I noticed the second when I was boning up on it. You notice he's always munching fruit. I didn't pick that up as a kid.
I definitely did. I don't know when I picked it up, if it was this viewing or if I noticed it previously or not. But I
Do you
wonder.
think it's like some kind of fruit bat thing? Like he's trying to like he was being funny?
Ooh. No, I didn't. I never thought about that.
Because that guy's
That's
pretty.
actually
That guy's actually a pretty. He's had a lot of character actor roles
for
like,
sure.
throughout television, film, and stuff like that. And I think what's really cool about this is both movies kind of have archetypal characters. I really like the Evil Ed character. Like I think people sleep on the Evil Ed character, the kid that's like he's kind of like how the brothers were in Lost Boys, the comic book dudes or whatever. He's up on everything, he knows all about it and stuff, and then he becomes like the fledgling vampire eventually. Oh, by the way, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen this movie from 1985.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, he nails it, and when it comes down to it, like that, the idea of you know, a young guy going or his vampires or his neighbor's a vampire,
Mm-hmm.
um, and nobody believing him and stuff like that, and then he actually goes to, because that's the thing too. If you for the younger viewers out there, like we actually watch shows like he watches. It was
Yeah. Elvira,
Elvira
right? Yeah.
or
Vincent
or
Price. Vincent Price present.
Joe Bob
Yes.
Briggs. Yeah,
Yeah.
Vincent, yeah. It's like well, Joe Bob Briggs was just a comedian, but
Crypt Keeper. What's
like
that?
Yeah.
yeah, and stuff like that. So, and actually going to this guy, like, makes sense if it's a hometown hero kind of guy.
Yeah.
And it just works. And I was reading a little bit that I read up on it. Like Tom Holland had the idea, and he was like, I couldn't really make it work until he thought of the Peter Vincent character, the
Yeah.
vampire, and then he's like, once I got that character, it clicked. It all made sense. Like, it's just a great film. It's so much fun. I watch it
I like
almost every year. But
I like how
go ahead.
they had all the horror elements that you need for a classic horror movie, but they injected comedy in all the right places to keep it flowing. There's never like
And
for something campy, it's
Mhm.
difficult to do that in a slasher film and take it seriously as a slasher film, but somehow it works better in a monster movie to have that comedy to kind of grease the axles.
I really thought Mark Ruffalo was good in this.
Do you mean the guy? Yeah, totally, dude.
that actually.
Hold on, I'm not
Yeah.
done yet.
Dracula Hulk.
Hold on, we're not done with this. Hold on.
That's a Marvel movie right there.
Yeah, dude.
Wow.
Wow.
That's
Hold on,
crazy.
Hold on.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
Just blew my mind.
Hold on, we're not done yet.
Son of a bitch.
Merc.
Okay, what's going on here?
Merc.
Now, this is
Merc
just getting-
Ruffalo.
Mark, when did you do this movie? I thought I'd seen all your movies. Like, what the hell? That's just.
I never realized.
I mean, I don't know.
Mark Ruffalo's got a set of lips on him. Never noticed that before.
Right?
What are you doing to me,
You just
Mark
made it
Ruffalo?
weird. You
Yeah.
just made it.
I made it weird.
I was just waiting for him to Hulk out, and
Yeah.
and it just never happened. I'm like,
He hulks out when he throws Chris or Charlie through the
Yeah.
closet.
but I mean,
He
look at
hulks
that.
Out, or he
We're-
hulks out,
we're just-
hulks out in the club.
We're just gonna put that
Yeah,
down here for
definitely
a
Hulk
little
out
bit.
was
Yeah, we're gonna leave that down there for a little
I
bit.
like that.
Yeah.
Damn.
So that's staying there. for
That James guy says he never noticed the big forehead. Yeah, in that picture, Ruffalo's got an 8 head. He doesn't have a forehead.
Yeah.
He's got an 8 head.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're keeping that there.
Clint's jealous
his-
of how the guys can have the one Razor Ramon swirl come
I'm not
down.
jealous. How does it curl?
his
How does he
lips
curl it
definitely
though?
hulk
Does he
out.
use a?
How does he get that Razor Ramon?
Does he?
Yeah.
I'm starting to feel like Peter or like emo Peter there for a second. All right.
That was a good look for you. You need
Hey,
to bring
thanks.
it back.
That was
a good
fun.
look for
Emo
you.
Peter was a good time.
Mm.
I didn't mean to zone out there. I had to throw those up. So, dude, I really liked this movie, and I started thinking this. Also, I was like, I wrote down. I was like, dude, this guy looks like if you could mix Mark Ruffalo and Andy Garcia together. That's who that guy looks like, to be honest.
Kinda.
And I was like, yep, that's who that is. But no, I started looking around and I noticed like I started watching and there's things going on in this movie. You see him in his room watching TV, and you see like these empty Coke cans, and there's a chip bag and the candy wrappers, and
Mm-hmm.
and then there's a Playboy over here and all these things, and it like
Yeah.
and the music was like. And I was like, dude, this is like giving me those Stranger Thing vibes. And then I said, you and also reminded me of when I was a kid. And then I was like, you moron, that's because Stranger Things nailed it in a lot of ways. And that's what it was like when we were kids. And it completely gave me vibes of hanging out at my buddy Jeremy's house. We used to watch movies all night. And the same time when you would be like, you'd put it on Cinemax when you didn't have Cinemax and it was all fuzzy. And for a second, you might see a boob and then it would go again. You're like, dude, I think I saw
Is that a boob or an elbow? I think it was a boob.
Can I give a quick shout out to Black Emmanuel on Taboo Island from Skinamax days? Fuck yeah. Google that. Google that, y'all.
Dude,
Black Emmanuel on Taboo Island.
I don't even have any clue what you're talking about.
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. You're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome,
You're
everyone.
welcome.
Shoe Diaries?
But it totally gave me the vibe, and I started remembering things like I'd go like, you know, we had generic Cokes at my house, but I'd go over to my buddies, and he always had all these sodas, and he had his own phone in his bedroom with his own phone number, and it would ring like it had a different ring for his phone number. Remember that?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like you could get an extra lime for like a couple, but like for your kid.
Hey everybody, let's get on the party line.
Yeah, and it would be like, oh, and you would hear pring pring, and be like, oh, that's Jeremy's line, you know, or whatever.
Yeah.
And but yeah, no, and but it was fun to go over there, and he watches this show sometimes, so I hope he gets a kick out of this. But yeah, I'd go over there. We would drink Clearly Canadians. Remember those?
Hell yes.
The Clearly Canadians, and hang
I like
out.
Black cherry or raspberry was my favorite.
But
raspberry.
We would sit around in this movie whenever it got to the point of like he goes over to his buddy's house, so like, dude, you gotta help me. Evil Ed. He go over to Evil's house. He's like, dude, can you help me? And he's like, dude, you're gonna have to get a cross. You're gonna need holy water. You can't, you know. And then as soon as he's like, you can't. The biggest weapon is he can't come into your house unless you invite him. And I was like, dude, that's why this is the perfect matchup for Lost Boys. You know what I mean? Like when he said that line, I was like, that's why we're doing this. Because I hadn't seen the movie. I was like, okay, it's just an early 80s horror movie, but it was really fun because it reminded me of some of the crazy stuff that we would do when we were kids. And we would go on adventures like it was real.
Yeah.
We would like talk about, you know, magic and vampires and all that stuff like it was real, and we'd run around and read comic books and do all this crazy stuff, and it was really
doing Goonies
fun.
Shit.
Yes,
Yeah,
totally Goonies stuff.
Hell yeah.
We go running around. We there was like a network of alleys in the neighborhood that we lived. He lived right next. Actually, I did too, but right next to a drainage ditch. And we would go along the ditch behind and cross the pipe and do all these crazy things as kids.
When Chud came out, we were fucking all over those fucking sewer systems. We were like, we gotta find a Chud,
real
bro.
quick.
But
Real quick, guys, in the chat, don't worry, we're not talking Venom spoilers till the end of the show, so we will definitely let you know before we talk Venom spoilers. Go
absolutely,
ahead,
yeah, that's been the plan. We're gonna do Venom last, so. Go ahead,
I'm sorry.
No, I was just thinking about it. We're like, dude, we would all kinds of stuff. We would
No, we did that. Yeah, for sure.
Dude, a buddy of mine and I went to a church and got holy water. That's how, like, even though we knew it wasn't real, we were like, I don't know, you know, we were both like, you know, knew it wasn't real, but it was just fun to fuck around.
We would go to the supernatural section of Walden Books and get like books on runes and just different weird stuff. And like, okay, we got this thing about he's like, yeah, like my buddy's like, I want to be a druid, and we'd get like books on aromatherapy and different things. We're like, okay, if we boiled some water with these rose petals in it and different, we had a chemistry set, and we would try and do all kinds of weird stuff, alchemy.
Is this the Church of the Cabbage? What was the?
The Cult of the Red Cabbage. That was a joke.
Red Cabbage.
That was a joke, but yeah, it was. We used to have a good time. It's crazy. But watching these movies, pulled me back into when I was a kid. And what's really funny about these movies is like the parents are not involved. You know what I mean? It's like they try,
they're fucking
but
checked
the parents don't get it. That's what's awesome. All the 80s movies, the parents don't get it. We got to handle this on our own, guys, and that's awesome.
One of the best quotes I saw during the pandemic was, you know, people were like, or somebody was saying, people are complaining about the lockdown and stuff. It's like, I'm an 80s latchkey kid. Like, this is my dream. This is my life in general. Like, you know, whenever Charlie or the main character. I think his name's Charlie.
Charlie, yeah.
Yeah. Whenever the vampire attacks him and the mom comes in, she's like, "You okay?" And he's like, "I just had a bad dream." She's like, "Do you want a Valium?" Like it's
Totally,
like,
dude. Yeah.
You know, like that's every
real.
80s portrayal of a parent. Yeah.
Yeah, there's all kinds of awesome like 80s bougie things like interlaced in there. Can I just say Charlie is an effing dork? I think Charlie is like
Well, yeah.
he works for the movie, but this is somebody John Hughes refused to put on a page. It's like Ducky, all right, cool. All right, this guy, all right, Charlie. Yeah, I don't think it's very believable. This guy would have got more ass than a toilet seat if he could just stop looking in his neighbor's window.
It's like the
for
poor
5 minutes.
It's like the poor man's Chris Klein.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no. Yeah. Apparently,
I will say,
I'm not gonna pull those
ahead.
two pictures up, but
apparently he auditioned for Mask
oh really?
and got beat out by Eric Stoltz. Yeah, he's like kind of like one of these dudes that should have done a lot better off the 80s,
Yeah,
but
and-
never
and-
quite got traction.
I looked up a bunch of his movies he did, and then he's got a lot of stuff into the 90s.
Yeah, he did stuff. I mean, but Robbie
had-
Benson, not very many people know who he is, but that's a dude that was in a bunch of stuff but just didn't get traction
Yeah.
outside of the 70s and 80s.
and when every time I watch this, I'm like, he's got to be in more stuff. Like,
Yeah.
he's got like he's got to be in more movies. And I look at his filmography, and he definitely is. He's a working actor. He's had plenty of work. But yeah, it's just like I'm like I remember him from other stuff, and I just don't.
Yeah, at least he's not a one-hit wonder as the Gremlins guy.
No,
Poor
that
dude.
guy was in Gremlins too,
Yeah,
and he
sure.
was also in Waxwork.
Right.
It's two very solid movies.
We got James says he had the same childhood. The what a childhood. I think about that, and this sounds like an old guy thing to say. Oh yeah, everybody's got to wear helmets now, and blah blah blah. You know what I mean? But we used to do all kind. Like we were crossing pipes and drainage ditches,
Dude,
and
I climbed
but
across power lines.
yeah,
as a kid.
like
I
and
fucking now that I have kids, I am terrified. Sue's always like, "Why are you always so like scared?" I'm like, "Because
I know what I did."
I deserve to be."
I shouldn't
like,
even be alive.
Yeah.
No, and that's the thing too. But it's different now though, because that's one of the things that worries me about living in Houston and stuff. When I was a kid, we would go play in the woods, and there was always like the rumors like, apparently Satan has like killed
Yeah.
a cat in these woods and blah blah blah. And we go running. We went running in the sewers. We would like go fishing in the creek and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Just on the way home from school, like that was just
And you
part
never
of it.
once got killed by Goat Man.
Well, no, it came close a couple times, but no, I'm still here. But like I got to drive like 30 minutes to get my kids to nature. Like
Mm.
it's different, and
Gotcha.
it's still just as dangerous. That's the only thing, like
Yeah.
so it's definitely different. I don't like it.
Even construction
how to fix
sites, dude. We'd climb into
Yeah.
start climbing around in construction sites and
All kinds of shit.
yeah, anything. Hey, there's a big tube. Let's crawl through it. See how far. Get a flashlight. Let's see how far it goes. And you'd end up like in the middle of a neighborhood, coming out of a sewer hole. You know what I mean?
Dude, we
Like-
literally went through after Chud.
Yeah.
We literally
we
went
went
down
under
Yeah.
the whole like town, came up across town,
Yeah.
from in the sewers.
What's crazy is there's gases and stuff
Oh,
like
yeah.
down there. You could have just passed out and died. Nobody would
for sure.
ever find you. Couldn't tell
Besides the mole men.
yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Oh boy.
Oh man, that's actually a good transition into Lost Boys. All the because Fright Night's kind of like the nosy neighbor.
Yep.
Like that's some Scooby Doo ass shit.
Yeah.
Like Shaggy and Scoob like get mixed up with Dracula next door. Yeah, I would have got away with it. It wasn't for you meddling kids. Now I burst into flames.
I jotted down a couple of cool, a couple of things though, real quick, but that were
Sweet.
amusing to me was when they make a mention of like when Peter the vampire hunter gets fired or he gets laid off or whatever. He's like, yeah, nobody wants to watch vampire hunters. He's like, everybody wants to watch demented men in ski masks running around killing virgins. I thought that was pretty funny.
It's a jab at slasher film.
yeah.
Totally.
It's ski mask directly, Jason.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny. And then also, how about that dance club scene where they're I'm like, man, it's like Dirty Dancing 2 years before Dirty Dancing.
It
They're
started
like,
off super. I rewatched that
Yeah.
specifically to remember the club scene because I'm like, hey, Jerry killed a guy. You know what I mean? When he like goes
Right.
crazy and
He doesn't want to get found out, and then he's just like,
then he's
"Yeah, let
just
me kill all
like,
these guys."
you know, ha, I'm a vampire. Yeah. ah!" But when he starts dancing with her, that is some like gropey, weird, and then she gets into it. But at first, I'm like, it took a long time for her to get into it,
Yeah.
and I was like,
It was getting a little cringy.
yeah, as like a middle-aged dude, I was like, God, and he's probably middle-aged, and she's probably super young. It was just like,
I kind of got a little bit like
you were into it.
no,
Is that what you're about to say?
no, in
Be
the
like,
in the
"Hey."
beginning when the
It was like, "I need to be a vampire." Damn.
Yeah.
in the very beginning when he's like, "Hey, come on," and she was like, "Come on, stop it," you know. And
Yeah.
it got a little cringy up there.
Oh
you know,
yeah, and he
I was
got
like,
mad.
Yeah,
He got kind of mad.
we've
when
been
he's like,
going together for a year, and all
Yeah.
I hear is "Stop it." I'm like, man, this definitely wouldn't be pulling that scene off in 2021 for sure. But yeah, that, and then also when Evo, I think, should get an award for the best acting in this movie. He was like
Oh, for sure.
Evil was like a
Yeah.
he was
Yeah.
ridiculous, dude. He's just like a spiky haired character. I was like super 80s kid, but yeah, when he becomes
It's like a low-rate Christian Slater.
I mean, it's bad.
Low
It's
rent.
so bad, it's great. You know what I mean? He's like going down the alley, and then getting chased and turned into a vampire, and then at the end when he ends up in the mom's room and with the Raggedy Ann wig
Yeah.
and all
Yee.
that's freaking hilarious, and turns into a wolf. Like what?
Yeah. The OG vampire lore is they could turn into wolves, so it was like kind of a cool. It was one of the only movies in that era that kind of did that, like call back to OG lore. I thought that was always pretty cool
Yeah.
and really sad when he dies too. It's not
Yeah.
like a villain's death. You know what I mean? It's like they kind of take you to a weird emotional place as he's turning back into a human. He's like, oh God.
And it's slow. Like that's the
Yeah.
thing. Like as a kid, I don't remember it being that slow, but as an adult, like it's slow. Like he's the wolf, and then he's a half wolf,
Yeah.
and then he's got the rat looking face.
Yeah.
And then it's like just he's a normal kid.
It's a
Yeah.
kid,
And
I
it's
yeah.
found
like just
myself
a
going,
damn
hey,
kid.
man,
Yeah.
come on. What the F?
I was like, dude, can they pull the stake out? Will he heal? Are we
Yeah.
gonna get this kid back? But no, he's toast.
Yep.
What about
Go ahead.
what about the manservant getting shot 6 times? Did you wonder, hey man, there's that bullet doesn't hold that many is that a 5-shot gun?
No, I didn't think about that time around.
Yeah, he shoots a guy in the stairs and then he falls and then all of a sudden
In the face.
yeah, on the
Like,
forehead right there.
in the
Yeah.
shoots him in the face.
Then he gets up and then he
Yeah.
comes back up and then he gets shot and then he gets shot again. Then he gets shot again. Then he gets shot again, and I'm like, okay, how many bullets are in this gun? I'm trying to look at the revolver because I was like, this looks like 5 shots, and I think they just fired 6. I don't know. It doesn't matter, but it's sad. I think
I
that
think
in
of
the
that
movies.
too.
I do
think
it
of
all
that
the
too.
time.
I need to go back and check it out. I'll be able to know if it's a cult. It's most likely a 6-shot regardless
It's
of the time period. If it's a Smith and Wesson, it could be 5-shot.
it's a pretty.
Is
dink-
yours 5? Is yours
In-
5-shot?
I have a 38 special that's a 5-shot. I'm in Texas, guys.
Yeah.
Those of you
Yeah.
like,
In case you're
I
wondering, we
inherited-
live in Texas.
Yeah, I
so-
inherited it from my grandfather.
It is in
It's
fact an
awesome.
antique.
Yeah, it is. It was my grandfather's, but yeah, that's 5.
Mhm.
So it's anyway. I wondered that, but anyway, I always do that in the movies too. What about the end effects scene in the basement? Or did
So-
you have something you were going to bring up, Curtis?
No, I was just kind of on the same topic. Overall, like the effects, like I would not call this movie slow at any point. Like
Mhm.
it's fun all the way
Yep.
through. But once the final confrontation or whatever happens, that's when the effects kick in, and and like we were talking about, it kind of mixes classical vampires with horror comedy,
Mhm.
and then at the last quarter or third of the movie, the 80s crazy effects kick in, and they just don't stop, man. They just keep
Yeah.
coming, and they are so awesome, and it still holds up to this day, and they look
I
spectacular.
want to say the effects guy. I went down an effects wormhole one time. I think that effects guy on Fright Night worked a little bit on Star Wars and for sure worked on Ghostbusters. I'm 90% sure that's correct. I could be lying. James can probably check me on that. He'd probably be the only person interested to be like, Dustin, that dork, he doesn't know film.
I want to say
But yeah, I think
Richard Edlund. He
think he worked-
definitely he worked on Ghostbusters.
I think he worked on with a little bit on Star Wars.
I got a Rajneesh comment. Off topic, John Landis, American Werewolf in London, did so much
So
to
good.
make the werewolf transformation epic, terrifying, and painful. That's actually on
Absolutely.
topic because it was impressive effects.
I have an idea for a movie forever called Curse of the Werepanda, and I want Owen Wilson to be like, hey, wow. I want him to be the dude that gets bit by the girl and turns into the werepanda. But the only reason I want to make the movie, because I want to do scene for scene the werewolf transformation, but he's turning into a panda. And then at the end of it, it's just a panda in the middle of a room, just like chewing on some bamboo, just like chill. But the whole like stretching out and stuff like that. And then at the end, it's just like,
And when the panda bites him, he goes, "Ow,
ow, man.
ow,
Ow, come on. Come on, I'm on vacation here.
son of a bitch."
But think about it. It's like, partial, kung fu movie, partial werewolf movie, Curse of the Werepanda.
Dude, I will throw in, if you do a GoFundMe to make that happen,
Hell yeah.
I'm in, dude.
Then I want to do one with Luke Wilson that will be shot for shot Jaws, but it's called Shark Lake. And it'll be based in Austin, and the premise would be like, what?
Shark Lake?
Shark Lake,
Yeah.
yeah. The premise would be like, when everybody was trying to save the salamander, it'll be like, like save the salamander people, and some company that's similar to like AMD or Dell is trying to like dynamite the land to, make a new like complex for, tech stuff. And the dynamiting the land shakes loose like a, prehistoric bull shark that's running around the Austin aquifer. And it comes out, and Luke Wilson pretty much will play Roy Scheider's part. And I want to get, Matthew McConaughey to play the baseball player, Toby Harper. I want him to play the old man in the boat like part, like basically play that character, but it be.
Dude, I want to do a film in the same universe that's called Nutria. And it's like it's like a 900-pound nutria rat that goes around killing people in the lake.
There was a great
Those
80s
things are
movie
freaking
about
horrifying.
a bear that turns into a crazy like bear because of the I think mercury from logging turns into like a killer bear from something like that. I can't remember what it was, but it was an 80s movie.
That sounds weird.
We're way off topic. I'm the guy that does this. I figured it out. I'm gonna pull us
Dustin,
back.
Dustin's back. All right.
Dustin, basically, you just put out your resume for the Sci-Fi Channel, so
That's right.
hopefully they'll be calling you soon.
Like right now, Boudra is like taking notes, and he's like, "Okay, fuck you, Dustin.
Yeah.
Curse of the Werepanda.
Um,
Shark Lake."
Well, that end scene is pretty legit, dude. It's hilarious, and I was like, "How is this gonna end? Is it going to be a stake through the heart, or are they ever going to do holy water? They never did get any holy water going on anybody in that movie.
It's kind of the end is a little bit like Dusk Till Dawn, right?
Pretty much, the light
Yeah.
just comes in and
And Robert Rodriguez.
You know what I thought? I thought
Fright Night much?
I thought what I really thought was going to happen. I thought Peter the vampire. I thought he was going to pull out his mirror that was cracked that he had, and I thought he was going to hold it and shoot reflection sunshine. And
they should have done that.
That's
you're badass, bro.
Yeah, that's what I thought was going to happen. Like, because he'd be out, you're like, haha, I'm away from the windows. I'd be like, watch this, and then like, ah! But I'm just a
burn a hole through the guy's turtleneck.
Exactly. Oh, good.
Well,
see,
I love the sweater and the fucking turtleneck. I'm like, you can get more schmarmy. Like that's like fucking comes down biting an apple, fucking turtleneck and a sweater.
Hey, Rusty, what were you gonna say, Curtis?
No, I just got to start carrying around an apple. So whenever I meet like fancy people, I'm just gonna be like eating it. Like, what's up? What?
Yeah,
What?
it's fucking
Like it
intimidating,
works.
right?
It fucking works.
If you can
it
pull
just
it off,
works.
yeah.
Like you're just like, what? You're not eating an apple, fucking loser.
Yeah.
I was carrying around in Europe a yo-yo for a while, and then because
all the time.
No, but like when you're in front of a bunch of, there's a group of people and you're the guy against the wall, just
Throwing the
doing
yo-yo?
the yo-yo. Like, dude, nobody's gonna
fuck with yo-yo, man.
Nope. They're like, dude, that guy back there knows something. Because who stands in the back with a
Yeah.
yo-yo? Like
Kaiser Sose, that's who does that.
That's right. We got Rajneesh has a question. Question for you guys. When do you think horror crosses into a comedy? Sometimes the kills, murders can get ridiculous unless that's the point. Sometimes it's meant to be, and sometimes it's just so bad that it is, and both are glorious.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Both
I
are
agree with you.
awesome. What do you guys think?
I think that sometimes one complements the other, and especially if you have like a Sam Raimi like kind of thing, it's like it's part of the emotional roller coaster, right? So you get like a big adrenaline dump from the horror, then you get like a cortisol kind of thing, and you're like lulled back into everything's cool, this is funny, like, you know, comedy thing, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh Jesus, you know. I like it. I think it works.
Well, when do you think horror becomes comedy?
Good writing or bad writing. I think you're right, Clint.
Yeah, it's definitely so.
Let me use the bathroom and ponder that.
All right. Sometimes they are written as such, which obviously Fright Night was. And what's interesting is it's easier to pull off, or it's hard. I'm sorry, it's harder to pull off a good horror comedy that's written as that than it is to pull off one that's like, you know, a horror movie that just ends up being funny. The ones that just end up being funny are great, and I love them. But whenever, like, when they're trying to be funny and it's just not funny, and then the rest of the movie is funny, like, that's not a horror comedy to me. That's just a bad horror movie. And I love bad horror movies. I'm not saying there's anything against them, but to actually write and pull off a horror comedy, I would say like Fright Night, like you know, of course, Shaun of the Dead, like Return of the Living Dead, like we could go on for a while, but yeah, getting that flow of when the jokes actually land and the ups and the downs of that kind of stuff is spectacular. But hey, if you think it's funny, man, it's go for it.
Yeah, there's sometimes where I'm like, are they serious? And it's like, and then it's like, wow, they're serious. And then it turns fun. It's, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
and
almost,
I love those too.
it's almost Schadenfreude as
Yeah. Or Schadenfreude, which means,
yeah, I know what that means.
you know,
Yeah.
I think I invented that.
That means poopy butthole.
Yeah.
Easy vampire. Oh, easy vampire kill in any lore. Shotgun blast to the head. LOL. Need to bring the vampire lore up to the 21st century. Wooden stakes and garlic are
Sorry,
played
guys.
out in the movies at this point. That's all right. I got you.
Put that back up.
Yeah, but Sunlight, it's kind of the. I agree with you, but that's kind of the. I really like that. I like with the sun being an all purifier, you know, like the sun was God in many religions. Not to go down that rabbit hole by any means, but like it being all things good. It that's the, you know, what gives us life. That's what brings plants and all this good stuff. Like I do like, you know, that being a villain of the darkness, or, you know, whatever, or like the you know hurting the darkness, you know, hurting the bad guys.
Right.
So it is easy.
Yeah.
But it's just like, you know, there are nocturnal animals and there are, you know, well, I guess eternal animals or you know, daytime animals. But it's easy, but it just to me it works so well. I think they should use it more in other stuff. Obviously, it works in werewolf stuff. They turn back into humans and stuff like that. But I think even in zombie movies, in the daytime, zombies should move slower, like, or something like that. Like they should have more power at night.
Right.
You know, I just think, you know,
They kind of
to
go
me
into
something-
they're solar. Zombies are solar, so they go into power saver mode at nighttime.
Right.
They like move slower.
And I like the
Any-
fast-moving zombies.
Yeah, me too.
I think they're cool.
Me too, but
like,
in,
yeah.
in the daytime, it's
The
just
modern-
like weaken them or something.
You know what I think is cool about Fright Night? Speaking of campy or maybe played out weaknesses or whatnot, is I really like that they're like, oh, that cross doesn't work because you don't believe in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so if you're like, if you're atheist and you bust up the cross, like, you don't believe, but if you're not atheist, then like the powers of evil are defeated by God. You know what I mean? I was like, okay, I think that's cool.
That really in Salem's Lot, I think they did it in the movie too, but in Salem's Lot they make a big deal out of the faith is what, you know, it
Hurts them. Yeah.
hurts the demonic influence of that. And when the priest in Salem's Lot starts to get shaken and losing his faith, that's when the guy starts to like overtake him, and like it's in the book it's like wicked, like because you can it tells what both people are kind of thinking, and the perspective is like you really have this sense of like, oh my god, it's like sort of the spiritual version of Saving Private Ryan when they're having the knife fight. You know what I mean?
Oh,
And they
yeah,
turn the table on. And it's like the bargaining, trying to bargain. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good
Definitely.
advice.
Rajneesh has one more question or just comment, I guess. I think that some horror movies are intentional horror comedies, but others become unintentionally funny, like Tom Wiseau in The Room.
I haven't seen The Room.
And then he says,
I'm aware of it, but
he goes on to
Go
say, don't know if you got it in the U.S., but in the U.K., there was an updated horror drama on Dracula on BBC One. Was so good and scary,
I
too.
heard about that, Rajneesh. I have not seen it. I like all the BBC One. One of my favorite shows ever, Rajneesh, is this show called Survivors. It was on BBC One. I think it only had 2 seasons, and it was actually like, you know how the BBC, like, something will be super badass and successful, and BBC will be like, nah, we're cutting it. And you're like, fuck!
Like, why?
that's BBC in a nutshell.
Dude, like, Survivors was fucking maybe. It was like, you know,
It's like BBC is the British version of Fox.
Maybe,
basically.
yeah. But it was like a post-apocalyptic thing, like kind of like in the vein of like a Walking Dead, but it's like after a disease that killed off a bunch of people, and like, you know, but it has a very Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead vibe, and but yeah, the BBC One Dracula I heard is really, really good. I'll have to check it out.
The biggest thing I was left with on Fright Night, though, is Peter seems to have gotten his gig back at the end, but did he get evicted? Did he lose his house? He was about to get evicted.
Yeah. He sure snapped on that $500 savings bond,
Yeah.
right? Just like whips out like a, you know, I'll give you a savings bond. I've never seen that or heard that in a movie ever.
Yeah.
I noticed that the last
Yeah.
time I checked it out. I was like, fucking savings bond.
Yeah, a savings bond, you can't even cash.
Who are we? Fucking like, what are we, robbing Nakatomi Plaza? Fucking like
Bear bonds.
Yeah,
Unless-
savings bond.
Unless that thing was a thing that had already like matured and you could cash it in,
Yeah.
but like bonds, like you can't cash those in for a long time. They
Fuck, man.
I mean, who knows?
I think that guy would have taken box tops at
They
that point in time.
They stole Jerry's shit once they left. Like, you know, like, come on, they already just
Fuck
committed
yeah,
murder. They
plunder.
stole
Oh,
all
yeah.
Jerry's
Plunder.
good.
Yeah, get all that dragon gold. That's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
exactly.
Slay the dragon.
Now,
Yeah.
but here's so, if you had, real quick, they made a sequel to it. I know I have seen the sequel, but I don't remember it.
I don't
at
remember
all.
either.
Fright
I
Night
totally
sequel?
Saw it. Yeah. Fright
Yes.
Night 2.
And so the director and writer Tom Holland wanted to make a sequel, but he wanted to do it, and they kind of rushed it out the door.
Mhm.
The studio, of course, they did a different director. It's got a lot of the same actors and actresses. It's got a female vampire in it.
I remember more
Um,
ladies. I remember
yeah,
the lady. They turned it on its head. It's the lady temptress vampire now.
Ah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
she's trying to. Actually, I do remember. So she's trying to get Charlie. She's
Yeah.
trying to tempt Charlie now. That's and I don't remember much else about it. And then, of course, they remade it in 2012 or something. Let me see. They remade it with Colin Farrell.
I'm glad you brought that up. I didn't know if you boys were going to jump in the water on that one. I wasn't.
I
Gonna,
haven't
like,
seen it.
I've seen it. It's badass.
Fright Night
It
2?
is-
No, Fright Night
it's
with the
good,
remake.
remake,
With,
2009.
I didn't see that one.
That's good. Colin Farrell.
Oh,
It's got a pretty good car chase scene in it.
Colin
actually.
Farrell's always good.
Yeah, he's fucking badass as the
Mhm.
Jerry character. And when he's like killing
So
people, and the kid is like,
Oh, look at that.
"Hey, wait a minute," he's like real like, "Yeah, what's up? I'm gonna kill another one. Kill another one tonight." He's like really good as the He's not smarmy. You don't get this like, preppy the college professor stealing your
There we go.
intern girlfriend or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
Hello. I gotta watch it because
dude, I tell you what,
yeah, I
dude.
want to check it out now.
If this happened to me when I was like in high school, I would have been dead. Like the Fright Night 2 situation. I was going for goth chicks back then. Like,
Yeah.
I wanted, I would have been easy pickings.
Oh yeah, we're all
Start playing Bajas.
We used to
I'm
wear-
like, hey, huh, this girl seems pretty cool.
We used to wear all black to school every
Yeah.
Friday, and people were like, "Why are you wearing all black?" Yeah, because we're cool. You guys want to talk about some Lost Boys, or do you have a closing thing to say besides we were happy that Charlie finally gets some at the end?
Well, I am happy with that. Oh, actually, Marcy Darcy, the actress, Charlie's girlfriend, she was Marcy Darcy on Married with Children, but
Oh, I
she
didn't
looked
realize that was-
amazing. Yeah, that was her.
Are you kidding me?
I didn't realize that was her.
Curtis, you just
She
dropped a
looked-
bomb, dog.
No wonder
Yeah,
she looked familiar.
Yeah.
She looked amazing when she turned into that vampire. Man, she was hot.
Yeah.
But
I got to go back and look at that again.
that's right.
What's up with that?
They
What's the
actually
deal?
made
What's the deal with Marcy Darcy?
What's the deal? And actually, Married with Children, in my opinion, got way better once Darcy or her husband came in. But anyway,
Totally. That guy is awesome.
but they actually made a sequel to the remake.
No
Which I
way.
haven't seen either.
I haven't seen that.
Apparently so. And the owner of Tom Holland just got the rights back, and he wants to make a direct sequel to the 1984 film. So that may or may not be coming. It was supposed to be in, I think, 2020, but who knows what
Yeah.
happened.
There's
Tom Holland.
there's
as
a
Charlie.
lot there's a lot of this getting their rights back stuff. We're going to talk about more about that in a little bit. Yeah,
But what
let's-
I was thinking, what would be interesting is, so imagine if they made the film and redid it where Charlie was completely wrong and he basically committed murder, and do
Oh.
it from that point of view.
And
Like,
Ice
that
T
would be a
comes
good
in
move.
with another person from CSI, be like, this is case of mistaken identity. Bum, bum, bum.
Thought this
Bong,
bitch was a
bong.
vampire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a
I just think that would
stake
be a good
out.
like, and it could be a horror comedy as well. Like, but it's like, there's some nutty kids like going, "He's a vampire," and the guy across the street's going like, "What the fuck is this guy talking
Kill
about?"
some poor dude in a fucking sweater and a turtleneck
Yeah,
eating an apple.
exactly.
Fuck.
He's like,
Oh,
he's a vegetarian. He's always eating apples. But
I'm glad we went in and looked at this checked this movie out because I really enjoyed it, and this is one that slipped through the cracks of my childhood somehow. I don't know how I missed this one, but I did.
it'll be a regular holiday or Halloween favorite. It'll always get you in the spirit.
It's good.
Well, let's jump into another favorite from the 80s. I was gonna drag my feet as long as it took Dustin to get here before we got into this movie. And I'm glad he made it tonight early. I wasn't gonna say on time because there's because we're just having fun here. But yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, all right, dude, tonight I gotta drag my feet, and I even moved it to 8:30 to make sure Dustin could get here because this is one of all of our favorite movies. And anybody
The under the radar cult classic that no one's ever seen.
Yeah, totally.
is The Lost Boys. So good. I have I mean, it's so good. I have the poster behind Dustin.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's talk some Lost Boys, guys. Yeah.
Well, go ahead. Speed up, man. What do you got?
Lost Boys. All right, well, let's pull the synopsis up just for all the amateurs.
You just pissed off Bobby. Way to go.
No, that wasn't a Bobby horn. That was just a horn for Lost Boys.
That was a Kiefer horn.
Okay.
Yeah. Basically, this movie, and I really like all the actors and stuff that are in this movie that we see in other things. And going back and seeing this, again and watching and just seeing it. I'm like, oh wow, that person. I didn't know Shakira was Star. That's great. That was cool. You know, like
Hell yeah.
uh, The Lost Boys is a 1987 American supernatural horror vampire film directed by Joel Schumacher, produced by Harvey Bernard, with a screenplay written by Jeffrey Boehm. Janice Fitcher and James Jeremiah. I don't really care about all this stuff, even though I'm glad all those people did those things. I want to get to the I don't even want to go to the cast. I just wanted a synopsis. This title is reference to Lost blah 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 blah. Okay, plot. That's what you got to skip to. Michael Emerson and his younger brother Sam travel with their recently divorced mother Lucy to a small beach town of Santa Clara, California, to live with her eccentric father, referred to simply as Grandpa. Michael and Sam begin hanging out on the boardwalk, which is plastered with flyers and a bunch of other cool stuff. And next thing you know, there's a bunch of vampires. They have to enlist the help of the Frog Brothers, and hilarity ensues. All right, let's start. I just stopped reading because the synopsis was super long. I was like, all right, I'm not reading all that. We've all seen the movie.
Yeah.
It's a favorite. The thing about this movie is it's not supposed to be campy and silly. It's like serious. You know what I mean?
And it's not,
but it is.
Right.
It's like sort of two movies. It is on the level of like magnitude of Goonies for the younger people, and it's on the magnitude of like another more sophisticated the Brat Pack 80s movie with like the Kiefer Sutherland and the Michael character and Star. So it's kind of like they're parallel stories that weave in and out of each other.
Yeah, it's like
if you went to a movie with your older brother, you liked all the Frog Brothers shit, and like the older brother would probably be like, yeah, I want to be cool, wear Ray-Bans and fucking hang underneath railroad tracks and hang out with hot chicks.
Star would totally dig me.
Yeah.
It's like if you're hanging out, like the junior high scenes feel like junior high Stranger Things, Goonies things, like the junior high when you're dealing with the Frog Brothers and stuff and Corey Haim. But when you're dealing with like the Michael, it's more like a Richard Grieco film, you know, like
nice
it's
Grieco
I had to bring in Grieco, but
Grieco.
But yeah, it's like the teenage cool 80s cool thing, and
I just fell in love with you all over again, man.
The vampires are cool.
Grieco.
Cool bad boys, and this is all serious stuff. This is not a comedy because we're serious, intense.
So just real quick, when we're trying
teens.
to sell the show to a major studio, we have to admit in writing that we made a Richard Grieco reference. You know that, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Just so you're aware.
Yeah.
When they come calling, we have to
Yes,
admit
sir.
that we
Hey
made a
man,
Richard
Billy
Grieco.
Idol doesn't fuck around with just anybody.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? But you fuck around with Richard Grieco.
Oh boy. I like this. I like the intro. I liked Santa Carla. I've been calling it Santa Clara for years.
Santa Clara is the real.
I know.
That's where my mom's from.
Yeah.
And she said there's actually that many missing people and dead people.
Wow.
Back in the day.
We've been there before, haven't we? Yeah, we've been there on tour. There's also
Jedi Master EJ's in the house.
Oh, hey.
Sorry.
What's up? What's up, Jedi Master EJ?
Sup, everyone?
Is Santa Cruz is where that candy store was with the windows that fogged up, right? Because I know there was a big. You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
But there's a big Ferris wheel on the water at Santa Cruz, right?
I think so.
Because I always thought that's where Lost Boys was filmed.
Might be, but Santa Clara is also.
It was actually filmed in. It was filmed in Santa Cruz, but the town name was Santa Clara.
We've been there before, and they're like. And it's cool. There's a Ferris wheel and stuff. It wasn't like when we were there. It wasn't all like a crazy carnival, but I'm sure there's
no dude playing the saxophone.
Yeah,
with fire behind him.
That's another picture I was going to throw in. Actually, we're going to change this right now.
Change Venom to my man with the saxophone.
That's exactly what's happening because it should.
Dude, I was gonna save it, but I think the guy with the saxophone should have his own Netflix series. You know how remember how like Friday the 13th became like. About the store or like Freddy, the Nightmare on Elm Street thing. Freddy would tell a story. He'd be at the beginning and he'd be like, I came out of a gym locker It was like, and then you tell a story or whatever. I think there should be a show where the saxophone guy lets you in on all the fucking weird shit he's seen over the years.
I love
'Cause I think
everything
that
you
guy
just
knows
said.
something. You know what I'm saying? And it would be an excuse for a muscular dude, well oiled, to play a saxophone, and you could binge watch that. And I think that's for me. I think that's a show that's for me.
So he's pretty much got like that show, except it's a bunch of YouTube channels about him talking about I went down the rabbit hole a little
Oh God,
bit.
I gotta see that. Send that
He's
shit
got
to
a
me.
bunch of like videos, like
Yeah,
playing music and like, and, obviously he's an older guy now, but he still
Yeah.
talks about it.
dude, I've talked with our drummer Dave about this. I'm like, I pretty much trust anybody that wears conch shells.
Absolutely, dude.
You know what I mean? If you've got
Absolutely back what you just said.
if you've got like some kind of flair on your outfit that's got conch shells, you're already like, in my tribe, I think. That includes Stevie Ray Vaughan. Oh yeah, check him out. And through the years and through hell, I still believe.
If for all the viewers out there, for all the fans out there and the viewers out there, if you ever wondered what it was like to see Clint live, now you know, baby.
Yeah.
Now you know.
Look at the fucking traps on that guy. Damn, kid.
Oh boy.
But honestly,
I like
whenever-
the Mr.
I
T
think-
starter kit he's fucking rocking too.
A couple weeks ago, we were talking about like soundtracks for movies. This one gets ignored a lot, and this has got a badass.
Thanks for
soundtrack.
bringing that up.
Like, yeah, I mean, it's got like even Sax Guy's song.
Yeah.
like all of them. Like it, some of them are a little bit cheesy, but they all fucking rock. And just like
That sax guy was like, "Hey, Joe Esposito, hold my beer."
yeah,
You know what I mean? He just fucking like takes it over.
Yeah.
Hey, and NXS doing "People Are Strange."
That's really good, dude.
Fucking great.
and the thou shalt not kill.
Yeah.
that kind
Brown little sister.
I mean, like, yeah, this soundtrack was just badass.
And there's that long tall salad gonna be there to tonight. This is how I'm gonna be. Oh, fucking what? Gonna have a good time tonight. Rock and roll music's gonna play all night. Yeah. Come
There we
on,
go.
baby. It
Now we
won't
got
take
it.
long. Tom Capello. Do you think he
And
goes
also,
by Capello? Or is it
I'm a
Capello?
lonely boy.
Is it
Capello,
Capello or
yeah.
is it Capello?
Oh well, in
I mean,
Spanish,
he's-
Capello.
Dude,
That's Italian, dude.
Dude.
That's Capello.
he fucking gives Brooke Shields a run for the money for tightest pulled back ponytail in the 80s.
Oh boy.
Tight ponytail back there.
we got some
Pulled tight.
we got some comments in here. Let's see. How would you feel if Lost Boys was remade today? Do you guys think it would work, or is it too much of a product of the 80s? I think it would work if they made it look like a product of the 80s, honestly.
Yeah, I would go to Atlanta or wherever they're filming that, and I will fuck them up worse than polio.
Yeah.
I would like knock them around with like a fish. Be like,
I mean, you can always
sturgeon.
make it work, but I just don't understand why. Like don't remake good movies, remake okay movies.
Yeah.
That's what I like, or even bad movies if you want. But I know everybody's going for the big name sell. There are plenty of okay movies out there. Remake those. Like, don't remake good. It's
If you
I'd say it's too soon, but it's been 30 years or whatever it's about to be.
it's like
But like,
you're right, dude. It's like hey, we're going to remake Forrest Gump.
yeah.
You're like, "No, you're not. Go away.
We've
You're
got
not,
this
you're not going to
idea.
do that." Okay, we're going to remake
Jerry Maguire.
Jerry Maguire. Nope. No, you're okay. We're gonna remake Office Space. So like,
Yeah.
go fuck yourself. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Lost Boys is one of those classics. You don't need to remake Pulp Fiction. You just don't need to do that. You know?
What if they do like a Asian version though? You can get away with that. Like in a different market.
I mean, sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
if it's
think
another
that's true. I
country,
think that's
different,
true. Yeah.
different thing. But I mean, like, if you're just gonna remake
I would fucking watch the shit out of a Bollywood version of this movie.
Now I will back that.
Bollywood,
Lost
that would
Boys.
be badass.
That's if
you
you're
could
gonna,
bring back Tom Cabello.
or you could do
and
What do you mean bring back? He's never been
Spanish.
gone, brother.
How about in Spanish, like a telenovela style?
yeah, I mean, yeah, I would watch that.
Mi amor.
Jedi
Michael,
Master EJ says
¿Qué onda?
some movies.
¿Qué onda, Michael?
Let's see. Jedi Master EJ
It's
says, I thought somewhere they were going to reboot it, though. I mean, maybe they will.
If they did
No,
it as a
well,
series in that
so-
universe, I think that would be cool.
He said,
No, well, so I think. Go ahead. Yeah, that's what some movies are just classics and they do not need to be remade. I agree with that. At a certain point, like, okay, King Kong is 100 years old almost. Like,
Yeah.
okay, we can remake King Kong. That's fair game. But even when they do, it's done best whenever it's like in the time period. Like
Good
with cell
point.
phones and everything like that, it's a different story remaking horror movies. But
I feel like doing a character like King Kong is like remaking a thing like Superman, or it's like a centered on a
fair enough.
character, but
yes.
a thing of Lost Boys is like a story about a whole.
And it's the atmospheric thing about the movie.
Yeah, so you'd probably need to go back to Santa Cruz and shoot that again there.
Yeah.
That's half of what makes the movie cool, is the vibe and all the people there.
The
I don't
set
know.
is a character. The set is a character in that.
That
The beach,
the-
the beach cave, and all that shit.
all of it, and
Yeah.
I think that's closer. Doing Lost Boys is closer to doing like Red Dawn or something than to doing like King Kong or
Yeah.
Batman.
Well,
you know
they
what I mean?
remade Red Dawn
I know, but
and it didn't work. I love Chris Hemsworth and it still didn't work.
I was gonna say I might be in the minority, but I'm not super mad at that movie.
I don't think I
remake
saw
of
I
that
didn't
Red
hate
one.
it.
Dawn.
I never saw it.
I didn't hate it, but
Mhm.
it was not the same. Like it, and it's not gonna be. But like I watched that as a little kid, and I was like, what? I'd be running on the field like and playing football and go Wolverines.
yeah,
and I didn't know what the
Curtis.
fuck a Wolverine was. But like, and my kid watched it, and he's like, nah, I don't care. Like, but you don't live in the Red Square. They don't live in the Red Scare. Like we grew up with
Yeah.
that shit.
Mm-hmm.
This is a
Well,
good.
they got a different
Rashnish had a
Red
good
Scare
point.
happening now, but would say completely agree. Okay, to bad movies are better off being remade instead of the classics. Underworld needs to be remade, especially after they fucked up the werewolf vampire hybrid element.
Mm.
Yeah, what's weird is that is old school vampires could become wolves. So what are you gonna turn into a wolf form and then fight a bunch of giant wolves?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either.
You gotta
Well,
with any
I
vampire
see-
movie, you kind of gotta establish the physics rule,
Pick and
the
choose.
physics
yeah.
rules of the rules in which the
As long as
vampires
you-
operate.
Because literally running water can stop them. Did you know, like in Vampire Lore,
Yeah,
literally
that's true.
running
In
water
lore,
can
yeah.
stop them. So
Silver.
yeah, as long as it's got its own internal logic, it'll work. But like, there's so much. Like vampires are literally the easiest fucking things to kill in the history of the world. If you look up the lore, like they're so fucking easy to kill.
Yeah,
But-
Rajneesh, you're talking about Superman and King Kong are exceptions, and they need to just be, revamped for the modern age. Agreed. I'm just saying that Lost Boys is a different kind of movie than those movies. I don't feel that it's the same. Also, don't feel that it needs to be remade. Maybe I'm just
Vampires,
particular.
but the point being, like vampires are like Superman and Kong. Vampires will always need to be remade. They will always be remade. But the specific story of Lost Boys and stuff like that, it's hard to. I mean, I'm sure that somebody out there could do it well, but they're not going to do it better, in my opinion.
Right, and it's not based on a whole series of
Mhm.
hundreds of comic books with stories. And this
Exactly.
is a character that we're gonna this is just a story like. Now, if there was a Lost Boys comic and there was a whole bunch of lore, and that's a different story. That
Yeah, that you
take
could play on.
all
Yeah.
of that data, all of that lore, and write a story based off all of that out of that world. But you know what I mean? Like you have this world that was brought forth in this movie, and that's what it is. That's what it is. You don't need to do another. A sequel is a different story. I could see a sequel, even
There
though everybody's
are
way older.
2 sequels.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
But there are not. but that's a different
Even
story
a prequel.
as well.
A prequel would be cool.
A prequel actually.
Yeah.
Well,
That'd be
yeah,
cool
that'd
with the
actually-
lead vampire, maybe.
Yeah, how did this come to be? That would be cool. But a redo, I don't think so.
I'm trying to
But
find the
it's gonna
Audible book
happen.
for Rajneesh. Rajneesh, I bought some sci-fi book on Audible that has a new take on vampires. That's extremely interesting. Those are the ones that explain why a cross like kills a vampire because their brain
Oh, you mentioned it.
there's no right angles in nature and it gives them a grand mal seizure.
Oh, cool.
I'm looking for that. You guys.
Speaking of Audible, have you all done that Sandman audiobook? Have you all heard about it?
No, but I need.
Mm-mm.
My phone won't update anymore because I've got an iPhone 6 that I'm like riding till the wheels.
I'm just
Come
gonna
off,
I'm
but-
just gonna give you a
yeah.
phone, dude. Aired. Yeah, there's a Sandman, a new one, but I think it's the second one that's done. Not it's based like a graphic novel that's been
Awesome.
been put to audio with some big time voice acting, and it's supposed to be awesome. Like I've heard it's fantastic. I've heard it pop up on several YouTube channels and people just talking about how great it is. A lot of people loved Sandman.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Is that Neil Gaiman Sandman you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much jumping down here. I was like, I took some notes. Corey Feldman. Yeah, it was fun. You see Santa Cruz showing all the cool people, and I love seeing all the punk rockers and stuff. Then you get the introduction of Kiefer Sutherland's flat top mullet, the most glorious blonde mullet in the history of mullets.
Damn, he makes that look good, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It's like a Dog the Bounty Hunter starter mullet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the mom, Diane Wiest. I was like, you've seen her in a million movies. I was like, this is like, I guess I'm older now. I was like, she actually kind of looks hot. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I was
she was
like,
cute. She was
I
real
was like,
cute.
Back in the day.
she's young enough in this still, and I'm like, man, I just saw her as an old lady on Netflix the other day, where she's a mob with Peter Dinklage.
Yeah, that's great.
That's a pretty good
Yeah.
movie. Do you know what I'm talking about, Curtis?
We care a lot.
Do not.
Yeah, Peter Dinklage is her like mob, like right hand man kind of a guy, and Peter Dinklage is her son in this movie.
Is it her son,
I
or
think
is it
it's-
like he's like a surrogate kind of?
No, I think it's her son, and she's in a home, and this lawyer who goes and finds people with money and like screws them out of their money, puts them in a home and takes and gets a cut. Basically, has them put as non-functioning people that are old and have dementia, need to go into a home, and like has a deal with the home, so they just sell all their stuff and lock them away and drug them in a home, and they auction their homes and take all their money, and then
She gets power of attorney, and
she gets and she takes a huge cut and gives the rest to the people who own the home, and so they get rich. Like they just keep doing this to people, and it's a good deal. Once they're in the home, they're so drugged that they can't ever get out of there. But they make the mistake of getting one whose son is a like serious mob guy, and it's Peter Dinklage. It's fucking great, good movie.
Rajneesh, the book is called Blind Sight, and it's by Peter Watts, and it has a brand new take on what a vampire is.
Cool.
A scientific kind of take.
I'm gonna write that down as well.
Yeah. I also loved when Corey Feldman and the Frog Brothers kick in, and with Corey Haim in a comic store, and he's like goes in there. He's like, dude, why would you put this here? He's like, red kryptonite wasn't even discovered yet. You need to put this here. You know, it's like, it was pretty cool. I was
the dork that would go in and like organize comics at a comic book store. Like I'd be like, oh my god, I can't even look at these right now.
Can't believe
And
you
I would
put this
literally
here.
organize them first, and then go look through them.
that was
Raj
cool.
says, thanks, Dustin. I will check it out.
Yeah, you're welcome, Rajneesh from Dustin.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
It's pretty good.
and then Star. I was like, "Hey, Star, it's the
Yeah. I think that's where I got my spirally hair girl thing from, bro.
fixation. Yeah,
Yeah.
you like Star." Um, yeah, I was like, I didn't know Shakira acted in the '80s. This is so cool. Um,
Can't
yeah.
believe that's so correct.
Yeah, Star and with
Yeah.
Laddie,
Yeah, that was a.
wearing his
I always, dude, as a kid, and even now, rewatching it. I mean, I'm older now, but as a kid, I was like, why don't they just fucking kill Laddie? Just fucking kill Laddie. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if
Laddie
it was
with
because
his
he was a vampire.
with his
Like,
Panic at the
yeah,
Disco jacket. It was like it's great.
I know, but as a kid, like, I hated his ass. I don't know why I
Huh.
did. Maybe it's because I was like, oh, he's fucking vampire. He's got all the powers. I don't know. But like as a kid, I was like, God, I hate Laddie. Just get him out of here. Kill him.
Ted was in that, right?
Yeah.
Ted Theodore
No,
Logan.
it's Bill S. Preston, bro.
Bill S.
Come on.
Preston Esquire.
Come on, dude. Along with
right.
Adam Curry.
right.
Adam Curry was one of the
Really?
no.
Oh.
It's just one of the big guys. He had
Yeah,
Adam
totally,
Curry
bro.
hair. It's like, yeah, fucking Adam Curry and Bill
I bet
Preston.
I bet that shit. If you touched it, it'd be like crunchy as fuck. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
absolutely. Dude, I spent the whole movie misnaming all these people on purpose. Like yeah, like okay, oh,
I wish I
look,
could
it's
have been
so-and-so.
there.
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
Well, I love when they're like, we just killed Twist in the bathroom like that when the guy
When he
the-
said
the-
what,
the-
we just
the-
killed who?
Killed Twisted Sister in the bathroom.
Yeah, that was
and
Adam
that what he
Curry
said?
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That's great.
Yeah, that was fun. And then of course the epic bridge scene where they're like, "Come on!" Well, first off, they almost go off the cliff. Then they go down into the lair, and he hits Kiefer Sutherland.
Dude.
How would he get away with that? And then they
I like when he's like, "They're maggots, Michael.
yeah.
You're eating maggots."
Ah! And then they end up at the bridge hanging from. I'll never forget that scene. That's one of
No.
the parts that I remember. And everybody
I-
falling. They're like, "Come on, Michael!"
I'm so glad you brought that up. That was the scariest part of the whole fucking movie to me when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like vampires and whatever. Them hanging from that bridge was like the scariest part of
Yeah.
the movie for me when I was a little kid.
Woo! Falling through the fog.
Yeah,
So-
even the vampires are falling. They're like, "Oh, they're all dying."
Mhm.
Like, surprise. And it's funny how cheesy it is now. Like even when we did Bram Stoker's Dracula the other day, all the smoke machine stuff and the corny scenes, and I'm like, wow, this is like, it's got some A-list people. This looks campy as hell. And then in this, it's like, no, falling from the bridge
But they
into
pull it
in-
off.
into
Yeah.
the smoke. I'm like, dude, I could film that in my backyard.
It's like UIL one act play.
Yeah,
Totally.
yeah, it's great. But yeah, that scene was the best.
By the way, I totally advocate for some school out there to do a UIL one
Absolutely.
act play of Lost Boys. Pick whatever
Dude.
act you want and do it.
Crowd starter.
Do it.
Also, when Michael starts to turn on his brother and the
Mhm.
dog attacks him, that
No
was
way, Michael.
that was another one.
Yeah.
And the phone, he's on the hanging from the
Yeah.
phone and now flying out the window. That was a really
I'm your
cool
brother.
scene. Let me in.
No way, Michael. You're totally a bloodsucker. I knew it.
And the mom peeling out to get
Yeah.
home.
And that's what's good too. That's what makes it great is because like we were talking about with Stranger Things and all the stuff like that. It is a good mix of the Goonies and what did y'all say? You'll stated it great earlier, but
Adam Grieco, Richard Grieco.
Grieco. You mean like Booker? Something that takes itself super seriously, like Booker?
He's out. Curtis is out. No, it's cool.
no, but because it does get the PG-13/R crowd in there.
Yeah.
And at the same time, the Corey Haim, like he tells his mom like, can you leave the closet light on, or
Yeah.
something like that, because he's still scared, he's still scared enough,
Yeah.
young enough to be scared of that stuff, and it does this matches good mix of both, to where it's like it's not this adult horror film, it's not this kiddie horror film, like, or it is a very good mix, which I don't know if we have that anymore, because as a horror fan, I want to find these good introductory movies for my kids, and there's tons of kiddie movies out there, but ones that like are right there, like it's hard to find.
Dude,
You know, it's
Stranger
either
Things.
one or
Stranger
the
Things
other.
season 2.
Yeah, Stranger Things about the best you can get. Like,
season 2 of it does Lost Boys style perfect.
yeah,
With a little bit of 80s action film thrown in.
Yeah, I mean it's great. Maybe I'll try to see. Maybe I give my son into it.
and there was some fun stuff like the dinner scene where they have the what is Sam, is that his name, over for dinner?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the
The vampire?
man.
Yeah.
yeah, they have him over for dinner and they're like, here, we got some Parmesan, would you like some Parmesan? And they put garlic on his food, you know what I mean? It's like that's that's fun situational comedy, like from the 80s, like totally. And they're like, oh, how about this, and splash holy water on his lap, and
Yeah.
And it's such a throw too, because like, you know, if you're not like some huge steeped in vampire lore guy, like it's such a good throw, you know, because it's like, well, it's not that fucking guy, you know, like
And
they
he's-
did everything, you know, right?
Even says it. I know what's happening here.
you do? They're like, oh, he knows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know.
And they did the whole like, oh, you're the man of the house, you're gonna
I'm
invite
not
me in.
trying to exactly.
You're gonna invite me in, aren't you,
It was
Michael?
perfect.
You're the man of the house. So you're like, yes, he is the vampire. Then they put garlic on his food, and he doesn't, and he chokes for a
Mhm.
second. He's like, oh, and they're like, yeah, it's just a lot to take. I love garlic. You're like, what's happening? Oh, here's some water, and he's like, oh, you burnt it? No, it's cold. And it's just like they as a kid, you're watching this, you're like, he is. No, he's not. Oh, he is, but he couldn't be. Otherwise, he would have died.
Yeah.
You know, like
Right.
it completely take you for a loop. So by the time it gets to the end, you don't think he's the guy at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're sure it's fucking Kiefer Sutherland.
Oh yeah.
And when he dies on those antlers, what we kind of mentioned earlier with Fright Night with Evil Ed, but notice how through the whole movie he's this ratty looking guy, you know, and he's like punk rocker and this and that. When he dies, he is so babyface.
Yeah.
Like it's
right.
purposeful. Like he is so babyface. It's like just terrible. Like you could see how young that guy was when he did the role in that one scene, and it's stark contrast, and it's great.
It's a long road to designated survivor from
Yeah,
that,
no shit.
from that dude. He was such, and you know, he was like, I was noticing too how good he was in that role as an actor. It wasn't like you get a lot of these guys that are like that were 80s actors that I mean, they did their job.
They hit their marks.
They
Yeah.
were where they were supposed to be. They did the right thing. But just his way of like whispering into like his guy's ears, like, "Hey man, go get the blood wine," or whatever
Yeah.
he's saying. They don't even say it, but he's like really good at just that role, and just like the way he talked to his underlings and stuff. His character, he did a super job.
Yeah.
Like I was noticing, like he's not just, I don't know. I was just like, dude, for an 80s movie and that long ago and being that young, I know he's a great actor, but he was like, he did a great job. And then all of it was cool. The motorcycles, how he would take off first
Yeah.
in a hurry and with all the motorcycles, and just he carried himself.
Did you notice too, like how he would listen? Like, you know how a really good actor will like, it's like what they're doing when they're not saying the lines.
Yes,
like
exactly.
when Michael's talking or something, like in the cave scene with the "you're eating maggots, Michael."
That's
he's like
exactly
paying attention, and he's like listening, and you can see like subtext and
that's
shit like that.
exactly
And even the little business that he's doing. I'm a big fan of that shit.
That's
Like,
exactly what I was talking about. Like that's the scene in the
Yeah.
cave that I thought that too. And I've talked about internal monologues before.
Yeah.
Where and for those who don't know what I'm talking about, a lot of times when you're acting, you can write your own lines to help you with a part in between the lines. So while somebody else is saying one thing, in your mind, you're saying like a response to what they're saying. You're saying like, but what do you mean? Or like, but I thought we were friends, or something. That's a thing where you just kind of make a look where you're like, you know, and it's like, that's your way of responding, because that's what a human being does in real life when
It's
you're acting.
kinesthetic, yeah.
It's like somebody says something, you don't just wait blankly and wait for your turn to say a line. You have a response, you know what I mean? And so it's like sometimes you like, I've done acting exercises where we had to communicate, and both of us look at each other straight in the eye, and the teacher would give us a sentence that we were supposed to be thinking, and without saying anything, you had to communicate this to that person. and vice versa, and y'all had to guess what the other one was thinking. It was really cool, and sometimes we got it right, and I'm like, wow, that's cool. I guessed just from her look what she was thinking, and vice versa. You know what I mean? So it's interesting, and it's interesting to watch actors after getting a little bit of training and notice little things like that. And it's like now Dustin and I are ruined with songs. We listen to songs and we're dissecting structure and all kinds of things instead of just enjoying. And that's how we know it's great. If I can go to a show, a live show, or a song, or listen to a song without dissecting it, I know it's genius. You know what I mean? Like this. It's I don't know about you, dude. I've like going to Stubbs. It's very seldom that I go and I just forget about the technical aspect and get sucked into the live performance. But anyway, with the acting, I noticed that with this in that cave scene, and I was like, dude, there's a lot of little nuance. And even when he was wearing his vampire makeup, and there was a time where he was like, come on, come with me, join us, Michael. And he
live forever.
Yeah, and then instead he ended up not doing it and tried to do something. And there was a time where his like Kiefer Sutherland's face like almost was like hurt. Like he made a face where he was like, instead of being like, you dumbass, you're gonna pay for this, he was like hurt that he didn't join them.
He took it personal.
He did. Yeah, exactly. And I noticed that even with all that shit on his face, like he was in full vampire mode, he had the nuance of his acting. And so
you don't get that shit in Fright Night.
No,
you don't get that feeling out of Fright Night.
You don't get that in Fright Night, and so anyway, so what I'm trying to say is Kiefer Sutherland is a badass.
Yeah,
but we already knew that.
Do you think it's because his dad's Donald Sutherland that he was like, "Fuck you, Dad! I'm gonna fucking show you. I shouldn't fucking act. We're gonna see about that." Fuck Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
That's like
sucks.
That's like Enrique Iglesias and Julio Iglesias.
Oh yeah.
They're like they can't stand each other, and they're in a battle to who can be the bigger sex symbol, super mega international singing star. No, but the difference is Kiefer and his dad have a great relationship.
That's true.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Actually, no, I've seen him recently in some movies. And I don't remember what it was, but it was really cool to see them acting off of each other and stuff.
I think Curtis was going to have Fright Nights back.
Yeah, I was about to say, as much as that is, the vampire makeup in Fright Night is way better when they come out with those crazy fucking fangs and stuff.
That's true. The girl's makeup is about as badass.
Yeah. Like when she's like,
Fright Night didn't have Tom Cabello. Neither one of them had Booker. I really wanted when Chris Klink sent around that Billy Idol stuff to us. He's like, check out this new Billy Idol. I'm like, if Richard Grieco pops out in this, I'm gonna be like, vindicated.
Vindicated.
So no more Richard.
So what were you gonna say?
No more Richard Grieco talk.
No more Richard Grieco, not Geeko. Well, let's see. We got.
You didn't like him? You're more of a DeLuise kind of guy. Me too.
Internal monologue sounds very
like
Sanford Meisner. Yeah, and always try.
You're such a cultured dude. I know.
That. Always try to get the actors in the right emotional space. What the character's thinking isn't important. But then again, I'm talking as a director.
Yeah, you're like, shut up and do what I say. But to get those monkeys to dance, sometimes they got to think whatever gets their face making the right thing, making the magic for you.
What the character's thinking isn't important, but then again, I'm talking as a director.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have to respond as, let's be honest, why are famous actors famous? I mean, some of them very much portray a role, but they portray it as they would react. I mean, that's like most people go see actors and not films. I mean, there's all kind of, we can argue that all night, but like the reason there are like mega famous actors is because they portray like how would I, and that's all you do. Like, how would I react to this? And it's like, you portray how you would react. And, for some people it's convincing, for some it's not. But I mean, if you can honestly tap into, which is difficult, how you would truly act in that given situation, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna nail it. You can succeed at acting. Like it's just getting the right movie, getting the right script, and all that stuff like that.
Well-
It's it's harder than I'm saying, but that's the main thing is that, like, how would you truly react if this were to happen? And if you can like let yourself really tap into that, then you're gonna be okay.
Well, I mean, it depends if you're method or classically trained.
Mhm.
It's funny because you get like some people that have to get all into the headspace, and you get some classically trained people, and like, I can't remember the story my dad told me, but it was like some. I mean, it wasn't Brando, but it was somebody who was like a super like legend, and then it was somebody else who was really good but younger, and it was like, and he's like, sorry, I'm trying to get in. He was like, why don't you just act? That's just do it. Why, like, and he didn't get it because he was classically trained.
Yeah.
He's like, if I gotta go out and cry, I'll just, oh my goodness, And like this other person is trying to think of a death in his family
Right.
to get his head in the game, but the other guy was like, you don't have to, like, basically, like, you don't have to live it, dude. Just act.
Yeah.
Act like you're crying. That's
Do
what
the
we're supposed to do. Yeah, just go act. Just go, and like, it's two completely different schools of acting, and it's pretty funny. But yeah, it's weird.
I think something to speak to what Rajneesh was talking about, creating the emotional space where you have those reactions where you don't have to, like, I think there's a couple directors that do that, right, Rajneesh? Like, was it James Cameron or somebody? I forget who it was, but somebody almost made a couple actors like quit because they like create such a high, intense, like kind of situation, and it like
There's several of them. Yeah.
You're saying, it's get the actors in the right emotional space. What the character's thinking isn't important, but it is important when an actor is taking notes on their script and trying to understand what the script is trying to say. That's important,
and have
you know what I mean?
continuity with their character.
Yeah,
internalizing the continuity.
You have
with
to
your character.
you have to understand what the script is and know what the words are trying to spell out to what the story is that they're trying to tell. So that's kind of what I'm talking
Rajneesh
about.
might be like, look, Clint, you are a fucking paint on my palette. Just shut up and get on the
Shut up
canvas.
and do what I say. But you could see it in their eyes. All right, now it's about the character's motivation, needs, desires, and personality. Saying your character is thinking. Hold on a second here.
I get what
Saying
you're
your
saying,
character
man.
is thinking to get an honest emotional moment doesn't work. It's a collaboration.
Ooh, I like that. I like that take.
I'll say that. Yeah.
That's a good take. It's like how I can relate as a musician. It's not how you can work on your guitar sound forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and go down a rabbit hole. But once you put it in the band, it may not sit in the mix, and you may get a producer, which in this case is the director. The analogous is the.
I love when you say "nalgas," man.
I do that for you.
Yeah.
No mommies.
You have to understand what the subtext is. You have to understand what the script is trying to say.
Right.
And it's the same and that affects everything. And it's the same in voice work too. It's just like you have to
know the why.
Yeah, you have to know the why.
I think
you got to know what does the character want, as the great director told me when I was on House. What does he want? I was on an episode of House one time, and here we go, Rajneesh.
Yeah, Clint's like, one of us was on nationally syndicated television show.
Stop, Ben. You don't hold on. When I say it isn't important what the character thinks, what I mean is telling an actor what to think as a director to get emotional won't get that authentic performance. I hope this clears up. Yeah. I'm not saying I'm saying I don't think like a director. I think like an actor. And so as an actor, when I'm studying a script and figuring out how to tell the story physically, you have to know what the guy's thinking. You have to understand what it's like to have this conversation with this other vampire, and when he says he doesn't want to join me, you got to be like, but why? And when you think, but why, you're gonna make that face that looks like, but why? And you just got to understand the feel to make believe.
And he wasn't
For you see, I'm not actually a wizard. I had to. They gave me a script. I imagined. My friend Peter Jackson asked me if I would be a wizard, and I pretended to be a wizard on that day. How did I know where to stand? They told me. How did I know what to say? They gave me a script. Yeah, no, sorry, I just went on a weird thing. If you've never seen Extras with Sir Ian McKellen, I recommend
pretty
it.
awesome.
It's pretty fucking hilarious.
I knew exactly what you were talking about.
Yeah.
But it's not just the emotion that he's emoting there. And sorry to like Rajneesh, we're like whipping this horse to death, and then
Oh,
when
it's
it's
fun
dead,
to-
we're
it's
gonna
fun
whip
to
the
talk
shit out of
about.
it while
Yeah.
it's dead. He's not just thinking, why would he do that? He's thinking, why? And then he thinks, if he's not taking it, does that mean I'm stupid for taking it? That's why he takes it personal.
Yeah.
He's like, why wouldn't you take this? I did this. Does this mean I'm lesser? Do you think lesser of me? He has a moment of not just doubt, but he is personally affronted.
There's a lot of human elements. There's
Yeah.
ego. There's a whole bunch of things that can.
He has a momentary vampire crisis of faith. And then immediately wants to kill the thing that gave him doubt.
Exactly.
It's like some kind of biblical thing. And now I must slay you.
Yes.
Smite you.
I think to get to that mode of thinking for the character, you have to explore the character's arc, what they believe, how they react in certain situations. Absolutely.
Rajneesh just said you're fired, Clint.
Yeah.
I think definitely that's true, but as the actor, you have to portray how you would feel in that situation. Like,
Exactly.
You
You
can't
have
portray how you, because again, like why is Jack Nicholson a famous actor? He plays Jack Nicholson in every role. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like he has range, and he can play a lot of different roles, but he plays Jack Nicholson in every role, and he responds how he would react. So he gets into the character's role, he plays the character, and he responds in the way that he would react. I mean, even De Niro, I think De Niro has more range. De Niro, in my opinion, is probably the greatest American actor. But like, he's still expressing how he would react within that character's mindset. He understands the character and stuff like that, but he expresses how he would react, and that's why it's more natural. If you're just parroting or pretending that to be this character, it comes off like that. If you're saying how you would react, it comes off as more genuine.
That's right. It's like when
Yeah.
Tom Cruise prepares for a...
I'm gonna set the internet on fire.
Yes.
And then you got like, There Will Be Blood. I mean, that guy knows what he's thinking.
That's definitely a method
all the
actor.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, he knows.
Daniel Day-Lewis. So yeah.
He's got a script running under the script.
Exactly. It's impossible not to inject a part of yourself into your work, whether you're an actor, writer, or director.
Unless you're Nicolas
agree.
Cage, in which case it's like every performance is authentically different than the last.
Yes. So I didn't mean to go down a rabbit hole of how talking about how great Kiefer Sutherland is, and then get into the intricacies of acting.
Yeah.
But it was fun. Dude, I could talk about that all day.
Again, I think it's my fault. You guys are way more on topic when I wasn't around.
No, but it's
I'm like
it makes for more. What's going on in my hair? Makes more fun conversation. One time I've told this story before, but check this out. One time I was on House,
Yeah.
the doctor show, and on the first season, and I was doing very poorly, and I kept blowing my lines. And basically, they came to me and they're like, "Okay, here's your script," and I'm in. It's like an hour before, 45 minutes before we were gonna go on the set, and I'm sitting in the trailer. They give me this giant script, and I'm like, Jesus, I have to learn all this in an hour? There's no fucking way. I'm like, I'm not an experienced actor. I was like, there's no how do they is this real? And then I'm like, is there a weird thing where it's like, do I just kind of memorize? Do I memorize every line of the entire thing? Do I memorize mine? And then the last thing she says is a trigger word? I'm trying to get all scientific with this thing. No, dude, you got to memorize every fucking word of the script. And know what's happening, know what the thing is, and remember your lines. So I start reading and start trying to remember it. I get out of my truck. Okay, time to go to the spot. All right, I go in there, and Brandy, the pop singer Brandy, who was Moesha back in the old days, she's in there, and she's like, okay, you wanna run lines real quick? And I go, no, I'm good, thanks. I was nervous.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was like
I
scared.
didn't know you told them Brandy to kick rocks.
I was fucking terrified. I was like, no, I'm good. And she's like, oh, okay. And which I probably blew her mind, you know. And then they're like, okay. And I don't know what the hell's going on. We're in a recording studio. There's 100 people in this place. There's lighting people, sound people, camera people, people with clipboards. It's just a huge production. This is House and NBC. This was the top show on TV at the time. First season, it blew up huge. And they're like, okay, all right, well, let's get this thing going. They're like, okay, Clint, get your mark. And I'm like, I look over and they're like, your mark? And they point to the X on the floor, and I'm like, oh, my mark. Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you. And I'll go over and stand on the X. And
You're
I'm
like, no, I'm Clint. Mark is the bass player.
That's hilarious. And I'm like, I don't know what the hell I was doing. And they're like, okay, cool. And they come over, okay, cool. Y'all going to be here. Y'all going to be arguing with each other, like it says on the script. And I'm like, all right. And then after a little bit, then he's going to show up. Okay, cool. Him is the jazz musician who's going to roll in, and we're arguing over whether he's going to come in or not. And she's like, okay, action. She's like, I'm telling you, he's going to be here. And I'm like, no, he's not coming. She's like, no, he'll be here. No, he's not, you know, and I'm giving her a hard time. No way. But I just blew my line. So like, okay, cut. Let's start again. Action. He'll be here. And I'm like, and they're like, cut. And they come over, and like, I don't remember if they did it a third time, but the director comes over. He's like, Clint, hey, let me talk to you for a minute. They pull me to the side, and I'm like, hey, what other stuff have you been in? And I'm like, well, I'm a Columbia Records singer, you know, in Columbia. And he's like, okay, I get it now. And he's like, okay, look.
Wardrobe, somebody shit in Clint's pants. Could we get somebody over here?
Yeah. So he's like, okay, so you're not an actor. You don't do this every day. He's like, no, but I can do it. And he's like, yeah, totally, man, totally.
Oh,
okay.
man.
He's like, okay, look.
You've never told me this.
Yeah. He's
this
like,
is great.
He's like, all right, dude. He's like, he was real nice. He took me for a walk. Come on, let's go for a quick walk. And puts his arm on my shoulder. This guy was like a well-respected TV director, and.
He's walking into the parking lot.
He was a big
like,
deal.
Here's your car.
We didn't leave the building, but he was a big deal. They're like, no, dude, that guy's legit. So, all right, I was like, okay, Clint, when you're acting, you want to think. This is what you want to think. You think about your character, and you want to think, what does he want? Okay, and he's like, yeah, what does your character want? That is what you need to be thinking about in this. And I'm like, okay. He's like, so what did you want? He's like, look, your character, you're in a band with Moesha. Not Moesha, Brandy. I'm sorry, Brandy, if you see this.
God damn it.
Yeah, he's like, you're in a band with Brandy. He's like, y'all are, and you're giving her a hard time. He's like, okay. And he's like, yeah, it's like, maybe there's a little sexual tension between y'all, but you're kind of flirty maybe a little, but you're really giving her a hard time. You're like razzing her a little bit. You know, you get it. You know, just you're messing with her. And I'm like, okay. He's like, can you do that? And I go, oh, I get it. And I go, like Han Solo and Princess Leia. And he just went, oh. It was.
Did
like,
he really do that?
Yeah, it was.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I was like, okay, I'm messing with her, but it's in a flirty, sexual tension. So I was like, I get it, like Han Solo and Princess Leia. And he went, oh, like he totally, like it's like I punched him in the stomach, and I'm like, no. I was like, dude, I got this. I got it. And he's like, okay. He's like, I got it. So we go back. And we like, they go back. They're like, reset everything. Like, okay,
you can
guys.
see that. You can see it in the performance.
Yeah. And
that was really good direction.
And I was like, I got it. And also he's like, okay, hey, we're going to cut a few of the lines too. He's like, it was a little wordy anyway. And honestly, we don't need to do, and he's like, don't feel bad. This happens all the time. He's like, you know, we come in with all this stuff. Usually it's too much. We end up cutting it down anyway. So this isn't about you. This is just, we're trying to make this more concise. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, whatever, dude. You cut the lines because I was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
It's all right. So they cut the lines down and we're like, okay, action. Boom. I nailed it. And then boom, I nailed it. And they're like, okay, cut. We're going to take 5. Then we're going to come back. You're going to play a little song where you're just kind of like, na, like teasing her a little bit.
Mhm.
And I'm like, okay, you got something? I was like, I'll get something. I got it. And like, all right. And everybody's like, oh, shit. You know? And so we walk away. I come back 5 minutes later. And I'm playing a thing like, he's never gonna show up, you know, kind of a thing. And then like, cut. He's like, that was perfect. I'm like, thanks, dude. And then Brandy says, that was hot. And she's like, do you write that? I go, yeah. And she's like, that was hot. And I go, yeah, that's what I do. Yeah, that's what I do. And they're like, oh, that was great. And yeah, and I feel so bad for her. Her mom was getting pissed. Her mom was her manager, and she was really sweet, actually. But her mom was kind of like, "Hey, we were supposed to be in and out of here quick. This was supposed to be a quick thing. This fucking amateur hour, Clint over here is making everything take forever. We got places to be. This is Brandy, a huge pop star, you know." And but we got through it, and it was fun. And I could tell you, I can't think of the actor's name. Who is Martian Manhunter in the Snyder Cut? He was super cool, dude. He was the trumpet player that shows up.
Oh, I didn't realize
Yeah,
that.
he's also Director Cooper on Blacklist, and I know his name. I'm just having a brain fart right now. But he was super nice, man. I talked to that guy.
I like that guy.
Yeah, I talked to him. And Chloe Webb too, who's a really well-known theater actress, and she was in Sid and Nancy, the movie Sid and Nancy.
Oh,
she was Nancy and Sid
really?
and Nancy. Yeah,
Wow.
Her and him, they were awesome. I talked to them. They bumped cigarettes off me, and we were smoking out in the
That's
parking
funny,
lot.
dude.
Yeah, we had a great time with them. He was very nice. I wanted to hit him up one day and try to interview him about Martian Manhunter at some point. If I could ever get a hold of him and be like, hey, dude, I don't know if you remember me, but I acted with you on an episode of House, so
That's
I still
pretty badass.
Still might try to do that one day. But anyway, so yeah, that's my House story. So that's, Rajneesh, that's how I know so much about acting. I was on an episode of House. The mom manager sounded like a pain. The mom manager was actually really nice. By the way, after this, I went to acting school. I was like, I was so embarrassed that I'm used to being prepared and being like a guy in the room that comes through in situations like this. I'll not sleep all night to make sure I know what the hell's going on. This one just caught me off guard. So I went to acting school for a few years after that. But no, Brandy's mom was nice. She was doing her job. Her job is to bitch so that Brandy doesn't have to.
Yeah.
Brandy is supposed to be there and look nice, and if her mom complains, it's not on Brandy, it's on, really, she might have had plans that she and wanted to be upset, but that's what managers and agents are for, is to make sure that
they're supposed to sheepdog it.
Yeah, you're
supposed to keep all the bullshit away from the talent.
That way you look like a nice guy. Everybody wants to work with you, and your manager takes the heat. Just like that's also why like Scarlett Johansson stayed quiet for most of this lawsuit. And, her agent at CAA came forward and was like, this is fucking bullshit, blah, 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 blah.
Good cop, passive-aggressive cop.
Yeah. That's how they do it. And that's why you should have an agent or manager in the same with the, what were you going to say, Curtis?
Ladies and gentlemen, let's invite into the stream Brandy. Here she comes.
Oh, hey!
Hey!
I'm going to be Curtis's manager. Hey, stay away. I'm his fucking manager. He's trying to smoke over here. Oh.
It's fucking gay.
Yeah, let's see. Of course, agents and the first ADs have to be the pit bulls. They're needed. Absolutely.
First ADs. Yeah, that's right.
So what about, I'm going to look at some of my notes. Bridge, train, Sam, dinner. Michael starts to turn, tries to attack his brother. I like when he wakes up flying. He wakes up with his face touching the ceiling.
Yeah.
That was pretty freaking awesome.
I always like transition films too. So like, it's always like bitten turn into a zombie or bitten turn into a vampire. but like very few films, like Raj said earlier with American Werewolf in London, stuff like that, show the transition. And when they really do, like that's a very humanistic, very like
Yeah.
you're turning into something else, like part.
It's
And I did like how they pulled that off really well.
it's nice to see a monster on Bambi legs at first.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It's like actually kind of more terrifying.
Yeah, because that's, I mean, you can see that as a human turning into that,
Yeah.
becoming something you don't want to become, and um,
It makes you imagine what it would be like to be that guy.
Yeah.
If all of a sudden
No
you're
doubt.
like you're not straight to monster. You're still human, but you're like, I'm struggling with eating your brother. Like
Yeah.
that's
Pretty dope.
pretty
I
messed
was gonna
up.
say Lost Boys is definitely the more memeable movie. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
I do, but I'm not sure why.
I think it's more culturally significant. It hits on a couple of things. The dad,
I mean, it was definitely like the Breakfast Club of horror movies,
yeah.
and not in a, I don't think
mean,
that would be in a bad
Tom
way, but like,
Caballo. Tom Caballo helps quite a bit with that meme action, but Kiefer Sutherland, like the whole, like, the Coreys,
for sure,
it's
There-
just way more memeable.
definitely the core. Yeah.
There's some outstanding lines in this. There's like you never grow old, you never die, but you must feed.
Yeah.
That's a good line. Flies and the undead go together like bullets and guns. Is another
That's a
one.
good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Frog Brothers.
Frog Brothers said that.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, my favorite is Death by Stereo.
Death by Stereo. Yeah, there was a badass band that's where they got
Yeah.
their name from.
I wish
Death by Stereo.
I got jealous. I was like, dude, I wish that
God,
I'd have thought of that. Now I'm gonna start watching all these old horror movies for band names because there's got to be some more of those.
Vampire Apple Eater.
Yeah, bullets and guns.
Turtlenecks and sweaters.
Oh yeah, great. The blood sucking Brady Bunch.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
a good one
yeah.
too. Yeah, I like, my favorite is still like, they're maggots, Michael.
Yeah, that's a good one too. And then of course the all-time classic. One thing about living in Santa Carla I never could stomach. It's all the damn vampires.
All the
At
damn vampires.
At the end, I was like, oh yes.
Yeah.
Murder capital of the
Grandpa
world.
knew the whole time.
Yeah. And you kind of never knew. You're like, dude, something's off about this guy. He's like
Taxidermy and shit.
he's like making giant spikes, stakes
Mhm.
that he's putting out in front of his house and stuff, and you're like, he fucking knew the whole time.
He's the Van Helsing archetype.
Wow, that's a good point. I never thought about that, but he kind of is.
Yeah.
Also, you know the rules. If you borrow the car without asking, you have to fill up the tank.
Yeah.
Yeah. What? Coolest grandpa ever.
They
And
should-
they're just like, okay, Grandpa. Like,
They should do a Lost Boys kind of spin-off. This could be the Netflix thing where Tom Caballo is like the Pied Piper and he's just like playing a saxophone and they're like following him out of town.
do you feel the heat?
Yeah. I still believe. It's I
that's
still
a chick-
believe
that's- yeah,
is what he
yeah.
says.
Yeah.
And I still believe.
Well, guys
And
out
through the tears.
guys out there, if you had to pick, we got Fright Night versus Lost Boys, who would you say is the winner? Talk about it down in the comments. Let us know. And if you're watching this late, that's okay too. You can comment or let us know.
Maybe
I'm
you
just
could
curious.
comment on a Mary F. Kill. Like,
What?
Lost Boys. The dude from with the turtleneck or Kiefer Sutherland,
Or
Guys,
Tom
which one
Capello.
did
Whatever
you
you're into.
like better? Let us know in the comments.
I should get a snow globe up here. Whenever I shake your snow globe, I just like go.
We should
got-
contact Tom and see if we can
gotta-
get a snow globe of
for
him.
the nosebleed.
Yeah, damn.
You just,
Oh
gave,
yeah.
you just gave me, Dustin.
I would. If anybody wants to get me that for like a birthday gift or Christmas,
What, a
that is
snow
what I
globe?
want. Tom Capello with a
globe.
saxophone inside a snow globe.
Oh,
Fuck yeah.
oh, geez.
You shake it and
Yeah.
he goes, I still believe.
I still believe.
Yeah, Rajneesh says Lost Boys hands down. And he's really the only one watching.
Fuck.
It's just Rajneesh in here tonight.
Yeah.
I think
Well, it's the only
Jedi
one
Master
commenting.
EJ pieced out and James pieced out. It says we have 6 watching. I think one of them might be my phone that's on there, and then that leaves 4. That's like
Woo, the other 4 are Russian bots.
no, the other 4 are James's different screen names that are all logged in
awesome.
on different
All right.
devices, but he's
Cool.
actually taking a nap or something.
All right.
Awesome. Well, what
I
do
hope
you
one
think?
of them's Tom Capello.
What do you think?
That's
Dustin?
okay. We still believe.
I still believe.
We can still go one way or the other or break even. Oh, Bobby's here. All right. All right.
Hey,
I would
buddy.
want to break even, but I feel like, dude.
We got to eat. We got Bobby here. That's an odd number
Okay.
with you two, me
I
and
gotta say-
Rajneesh.
I gotta say, Lost Boys.
I'm going to go Lost Boys 2. So not Lost Boys 2, but Lost Boys also. Bobby, which one do you like? And while we're waiting for that, Bobby in the house. While we're waiting for your,
Plus, I used to
Vote.
rock that soundtrack actually on tape.
that is a
I would
good.
listen to it.
That is a
front
good
to back.
point. I used to, my buddy Jeremy, who I was talking about, he and I, we played that one on repeat, dude. I used to live at his house practically. I was always over at his house. But yeah, that was a really good one. Curtis, what do you got? What do you think?
I'm not trying to be contrarian, but Fright Night is just too much fun for me. Like I just have
It is.
like Lost Boys is definitely good. It's just it gets more, I don't know about serious at times, but Fright Night is definitely much more fun and I enjoy it more. So I'm probably going to put it on more than Lost Boys.
That's fair.
I don't know. I'm not saying it's a better film, but I'm going to watch it more often. And so I'm going to go Fright Night.
Yeah, if you had to pick, which one do you like better?
Like I've watched Fright Night like almost every year around Halloween time. It gets me in the mood. Lost Boys is,
Get you in the mood. Hey, man.
it does. Like it's
Hey, man,
just
whatever-
it's so much
whatever
fun.
does it.
It's the end vampire scene. Get
Yeah,
you in the
whatever
mood.
does it.
Uh,
It's that dance scene in the club.
Gets me
That's
in the
right.
mood. We got Bobby says Lost Boys. I don't remember Fright Night.
I absolutely
go.
back your Fright Night, though. It's the more classical monster movie style movie.
Rewatch Fright Night, Bobby. It's you're gonna have a blast. It's
It's
gonna be
worth
fun.
watching.
Yeah, it was fun. I've had a busy week, and so sometimes I will hold off the stuff that we're going to end up talking about today until the last minute, and it turns into a marathon to where I watch the shows the night before and the day of, and I'm like, and so I was like, fuck, I gotta watch these before we get on there and talk about it. Even though I'd seen Lost Boys, I want to watch it again, and so I was starting Fright Night, and I remember looking at like, oh geez, this is a long movie. Lost Boys is 90 minutes, but Fright Night was longer. And so I remember thinking like, oh, geez. And then kind of,
But it didn't feel like it though.
no, it doesn't. It doesn't. But when you're starting a movie and you're like, okay, it's like, even though this is fun, it's like I have a lot of stuff to watch. So it's almost like I got to do my homework.
It's like
you know what I
homework.
mean? It's like
Yeah,
homework. I don't want
I
to
feel
call
you.
it that because this is all about fun and I enjoy it.
Right.
But once the movie kicked in, I was like, oh crap, this is great. You know what I mean? This is really fun. And I was doing other stuff. I was updating some stuff online and posting the show links on different platforms and getting. I have a lot of behind the scenes stuff that I have to do. So I'm like, okay, took my laptop into my room and I'm doing this while I'm watching. And then at some point I was like, okay, and I just shut my laptop when I was finished, and then I rewound it and started it over. I was like, I don't want to miss anything. This is actually fun. This isn't like, okay, halfway watch it and then take some notes and halfway watch. I was like, no, this movie's fun. I actually really enjoyed it. And so, yes, like Curtis said, if you haven't seen Fright Night, go check it
And
out.
Roddy McDowell did not phone it in.
No, he nailed it.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
really good. It was like really like you could see everything. The washed up actor still like
Oh, yeah.
trying to waiting for any opportunity to make it happen. It's like pretty legit.
And Mark Ruffalo, too.
Mark Ruffalo
didn't-
was brilliant.
He didn't phone it in at all. Awesome. Well, let's let us move on to some other stuff.
You got some juicy stuff on the
Well, if
way, right, Clint?
Yeah, we got some stuff. We got to talk about Squid Games.
Oh yeah. I'm probably going to be
Dustin-
the poopy pants on this one.
Uh-oh. What were you going to say, Curtis? Did you have some more things to
No.
talk about?
No. I was gonna say, Dustin, did you watch it, or how
Okay.
far did you
Yeah.
get, Dustin?
But before we jump into it, or you can even get into Squid Games, but I've got to run to the men's room really quickly. Too much information. But while I'm doing that, y'all give a quick wrap up to the two movies and what you think. And here, I'll put a timer for myself.
Oh, that's pretty good. I like that.
Yeah, that's not annoying at all.
I really like that you watch Fright Night every so often or whatever. It does have the more fun. It's like more of a fun movie. Like in the way that Gremlins is fun, or like other movies like that are really cool. Lost Boys is like more like Red Dawn, where it's like a story that you're invested in it and stuff like that. It's got some funny moments and stuff, or like Ferris Bueller's Day Off or something. You know,
Right. And that's what I mean. I'm not necessarily like there's certain movies like that. It's like I'm not saying they're a better movie or not per se, but you don't want to watch it. And I'm not saying Lost Boys is heavy.
No,
but because it's not. But it's just, when it comes down to it, like I'm gonna watch a more fun movie more often.
Fright Night is more the Roadhouse of horror movies.
Yes.
You can put it on. If you only see it halfway through, you can be like, oh yeah, this is the part where he gets the detective to come with him.
Yeah.
And totally gets shit on in the house by the Renfield character. Is it Billy? Is that his name? Billy, the Renfield character?
Shit. I guess that was his name.
Was it Billy?
You're talking about the ghoul? The ghoul guy?
Yeah, the Renfield style, because he's Renfield to the Dracula for the purpose of the movie.
I think it was Billy.
I think it is.
Question. I don't know what. I just know he's the guy from House 2.
Right. Oh God.
That's
Clint,
him.
Clint don't know nothing about no House, but like House. The House movies are great, man.
I know.
They're great.
Even House 4.
And House, the cool thing about House is they're movies inside a movie. Like House 2 is the one that has like the little Vietnam featurette inside it, right? Or is that House 1?
That's House 1. House 2 is the one where they like go back into the caveman times.
That's right.
And
That's right.
Like they have the crystal skull and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking A, did George Lucas rip off House 2? The fucking Indiana Jones crystal skull?
He totally did.
You son of a bitch.
He totally did.
You son of a bitch, George Lucas.
I own that movie and I haven't seen it yet.
Which one?
The crystal skull.
Oh, dude. I like the beginning of that movie a lot. It loses me, but it's got a couple of really good scenes. There's a scene in the jungle. Like, I really like, is it Cate Blanchett that's in that? Plays the Russian, I think it is. She's always awesome in everything, but there's this bullet ant scene, or they're like leafcutter ants. You know, the kind of ants that like crawl across that are like carpet the jungle floor. They're like buried, and they're like the ants are coming. That's like a cool scene. The first scene in the movie, Indiana Jones kind of gets trapped inside a like nuclear test. It's like a Hills Have Eyes kind of nuclear test city. You know, those cities, fake cities that look like little pink houses set up with like fake dummies and stuff and clothes on the wash line and stuff like that. Well, he gets caught up in that, and he survives by, spoiler alert, if nobody's seen that movie from like 20 years ago or whatever.
I haven't seen it.
Oh, man, just go.
Let's have the conversation started,
I don't want to fucking spoil you.
But go ahead.
But it's pretty cool. You know, it doesn't disappoint. It doesn't I'm not going to fucking totally spoil it, but it doesn't disappoint as far as every Indiana Jones has that beginning scene that's the pseudo cliffhanger. It's like starts like a MacGyver, or like starts with a little action up front. Dude, House, you fucking brought me back, man.
Yeah,
I love those houses. I loved all those type of movies. I loved all the troll movies.
Fuck yeah, Troll. Dude, we should do Troll 2.
Oh man, those are tedious to watch. They do not hold up.
No, it's so good.
I'd rather
It's
do
so good.
Leprechaun.
And I'll do some Leprechaun.
Yeah, there
You want
because
to
the
get down with some
Leps,
Leprechaun?
Lep in the Hood. You got a couple of different ways. We just went down a house like wormhole. Remember House and House 2?
Yeah, I was on House.
No, dude.
Like with the disembodied hand ringing the doorbell. You've seen that
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
VHS
yeah.
tape? Yeah,
That's hilarious.
those are fucking seminal movies for me.
Fuck yeah, that's what I mean. Like those were like.
That's why I thought, like, when
oh.
I saw the Evil Dead first time, I thought, oh, it's gonna be just like House. I'm like a young kid. I'm like, like fucking.
Well,
Yeah.
well, I'm
that'd
down
be a
to get
good
into
mix.
any of those.
Yeah.
Oh man, they're a blast. And House 4 is even good. Like so what's weird is the third one was just like some completely different film.
They always
Like,
do that shit, don't they?
Yeah. It was like, and it was called The Horror Show here.
Mhm.
And it's actually a good movie, but like it was called The Horror Show, but in everywhere else it was called House 3, and it was just they own the rights and they just made some fucking other movie.
You know they did
And
that with
House-
the Breakfast Club.
Say what?
Yeah. In foreign markets, it was called shit.
Is that
It
why
was
they
called
call it
Shit.
that?
No, what's it called? Fuck. Let me look it up real quick. But they actually have like Judd Nelson's characters, Bender, the whole thing. Hold on. Breakfast Club 2.
All right. Hold on a second here.
They called it.
Well-
Hold on a second.
Clint, we can save Squid Game until we finish it if you want to.
We can do that. I mean, we've already been on for a while, and
We still got to get to some other topics. I mean, if the fans want to talk about it, we can absolutely talk about it.
I can do a hot.
but-
I can go back and look at Squid Games with a
have you seen Squid Games yet, Dustin?
Yeah, I watched most of it, but
say
like
about episode 4 or something, right?
I like
or no,
went,
that
and
was
then I
Clint.
skipped ahead because I'm like these motherfuckers
Oh,
are
you
gonna watch them
cheater.
all, so I better like figure this shit out.
Oh,
like,
you can't
Okay.
skip ahead.
We,
man.
we're about halfway through.
I got a hot take, and I'm probably poopy pants about it.
Here's what we'll do. We'll do Squid Games next week, but we're gonna tell everybody right now, everybody out there, if you're not watching Squid Games, watch Squid Games on Netflix because it's actually really good and it's interesting. It's a different take on stuff than we're used to. If you watch a lot of Asian cinema, maybe you're like, no, this is some cool weird stuff that they would do. But as far as what I think, what I watched, this is kind of an interesting take on stuff, and they did a good job at.
I thought it was just
making
Willy Wonka meets fucking Battle Royale.
it's kind of what it
reminded
is.
me.
It's kind of what it is.
So Dustin has definitely seen so you've seen Battle Royale, you've seen some a lot of some Asian cinema. Like
I was
it's
like,
not
wait a minute.
necessarily, it's not as out of the box, but it's definitely well done. It's definitely a good show. I'll say that.
Yeah.
And honestly, episode 2, when they, spoiler alert, decide to, get out of the game, surprised the shit out of me. Like,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
then they
we'll
all
do-
go back.
Well, let's
Yeah.
let's make this an introductory Squid Games talk then, real quick. We're just because in the first couple episodes, I agree with you. That's kind of what made it interesting. Is that like these guys, for those of you who don't know, bunch of people that basically get abducted. They all seem to be in debt, and they wake up in a place and in a weird game situation, and they'd signed their life rights away. Because one of the guys owed money to somebody, and he said, "Okay, well, sign this," and basically signs his life away. They all wake up at this weird place doing these weird games, and they're like, "Okay," and they're gonna play red light, green light. Almost said Jets Across. And so they start playing, and they're like, "Okay, yeah, what the hell's going on? There's gonna be all this money." They don't know what the prize is gonna be till after the first game, which is interesting. I'm like, okay. They're all kind of weirded out about being abducted or being in this place. So then the losers start getting killed off, and they're like, "What? Holy crap!" And like
Murdered.
like straight up killed, executed,
Murdered.
and they're on this field doing this game, and they're trying to process what's happening. They're all getting mutilated and just blown away, and it scares the shit out of them. And then it turns out to where they're like, okay, if we real quick, when you're seeing people get killed everywhere, some people are going to go into the fetal position. Some people are going to get on point real quick. And there's a kind of a mixture of reactions. And then they kind of help. Some of them kind of help each other too to finish this game and not get killed. And half of them got murdered brutally. So everybody's like freaking out. Then they all get herded back into this room. And everybody's freaking out. How do we get out of here? We're sorry. Please let us go. We're human beings. We're we owe money, but this isn't fair. And then all of a sudden they're like, okay, cool. Well, okay, you can vote to get out of here. But real quick, let me show you the prize money for the winners. And they start introducing billions of dollars into this thing. And then all of a sudden, half of them are like, wait a minute, maybe we should do this. You know what I mean? And
I could win this thing.
Yeah, I could win all that money.
Yeah, the big guys, like, you could tell the big guys, like, I'm badass.
Yeah,
I'm going to win this.
It's really interesting that these people are horrified. They all come together to get the hell out of there. They all want to get out of there. And then as soon as you introduce a bunch of money, they're like, And so, long story short, they vote to get out of there. Then they go back to their lives. And then they all live through all this bad stuff, and they voluntarily go back to this place where they.
I didn't buy that all of them would just like go back to that place.
It wasn't all of them. It was 187 out of 201.
Yeah.
So,
but that's a
20
lot
of
them.
them.
Most of those people would be dead from fentanyl in reality.
Yeah, yeah, probably so.
Yeah.
But I thought it was. I was like, this adds a new twist. Now they're back, and they're voluntarily here, and all of a sudden
they're ready. They're ready to fucking play.
If I was making that movie,
and also the brutal murders, all of a sudden the blood and gore is not horrifying. It's not like going into a war setting where there's people brutally getting killed on the battlefield. This is all of a sudden they signed up for this, so it's and it real quickly they even turning on each other and different things. It doesn't even us, you get desensitized.
Humanity is gone.
Yeah, that's kind of a weird twist to it.
You know what I would have done? I would have fucking gave them half the money. I would have fucking, like, the ball like cuts in half or whatever that thing cuts in half. That money incinerates and be like, all right, you guys are fucking basic. Like, you're back now. Cool, you get to play for half. Fucked up. You fucking you skated on us once.
Well, it's the mind game.
For sure.
Yeah. But that's the basically the rough storyline, and you got people that are starting to team up with each other to survive.
And you got Doomcock in there. That's the front man.
It gets interesting. So we're gonna finish this show, and then we're gonna come back and talk about it. You want to do it next week or the following week?
I'm probably going to finish it quick, but
okay, let's do it next week.
I'll go back and watch the 2 or 3 in the middle. Yeah. I went and watched the end of it. I'm like, this is some Willy Wonka ass shit.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna watch it, guys. If you haven't seen Squid Game, go watch it, and we'll talk about it next week. And this will be interesting.
Spoiler alert: Tom Capallo is not in it.
By the way, we didn't mention this.
I cried a little bit.
You cried a little.
Tom Capallo's not in it.
Yeah, totally.
Interesting thing is this movie is on course to be the most viewed
#1
Netflix show of all times. Bigger than Bird Box.
Which should fucking terrify everybody.
Which is crazy.
That everybody's like, oh yeah, I can totally relate to this. That is some fucking, what was that experiment where they like got like college students to fucking like theoretically kill each other just by like, authority told them to
I know
do
what you're
it?
talking about.
The Wave? Was it The Wave?
No, I mean, I'm not talking about a movie. I'm talking about this was a real like experiment where they got like people to
Milanotics.
Yeah. That's the one.
Well, this movie, it's crazy. It's just blown up. And I was like, wait a minute. Oh, it's #1. They're like, no, it's gonna be #1 of all time.
Yeah.
it takes
in the world,
idea
yeah.
of like the purge and takes it to the next level
Yeah.
of
Well,
like dehumanization.
You're like all time of any Netflix show. All time of any Netflix show, like all time, that's insane.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. So
You fucking people are psychopaths.
but it's because
that's what it tells me.
there's a huge international response to this movie. There's a lot. It's not. Yeah, I mean, we're used to
Yeah.
what we do here. But
We're desensitized already. Like
Yeah.
the rest of the world's catching up
Yeah.
with us.
Yeah.
Sadly.
so if you haven't watched
Uh,
this show, you're catch up, man.
Definitely check it out. Yeah, it's worth a watch. If you've seen a lot of Asian shows, it's kind of along the same lines. But honestly, it's been a while since they've done something like this, at least that I've seen. So
Yeah.
If you haven't seen the #1 Netflix show ever, where you
just
been?
fucking kill yourself.
Where? No, just go to the show. Go to the Squid Game and
I'm
let
just kidding.
them do it. For
I'm
you.
sorry, that was just a joke. I'm sorry.
They're just
Yeah.
saying like Stranger Things season 3 is just like saying hold my beer.
You think so?
Yeah, that's why they had Squid Games come out first. That's right. Go ahead and say it.
Now, on the same lines, Dustin. So you were saying it's like Willy Wonka. Have you seen Snowpiercer?
Yeah, I love Snowpiercer. Yeah,
I love
I've
it as
seen
well.
that theorized
Are you-
as like
are you-
this is
Yeah,
the
have you?
continuation of Willy Wonka.
Are you talking about the series or the movie?
The
Snowpiercer?
movies.
Okay.
The
movie.
movies.
There's a
The movies-
series with Jennifer Connelly and
And that's good too. But the movie
I haven't seen
specifically
that.
has been theorized that it could be
It's
a sequel to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, a dark future sequel, which is really
Yeah.
interesting take.
It's I
Makes
really
sense.
like that take.
It makes
I-
sense. I wish they'd do
Yeah,
that
I'm
with
not-
more movies. Where they
It was
do-
definitely influenced. I don't know if I
Sure.
necessarily agree with the whole thing, but like it was definitely influenced. Like you could tell. I love that director, and
Mhm.
you could definitely tell it was influenced. But man, that's a good movie.
Hey,
Damn, it's a
Rajneesh
good movie.
has something to say here. It was the Stanford
Snowpiercer.
prisoners
Thank you, Rajneesh.
and
That's right.
guards experiment. Yeah, that's it. I've seen a documentary on it. It's really interesting. It was a psychological experiment. I think there was a biopic movie, yes, starring Ezra Miller and a German-based movie on
Das
it.
Experiment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are several documentaries on that, and it's some crazy stuff.
That's my household. Das Experiment.
Woo. What just happened here? I didn't even mean
Tom
to do that.
Capallo fucking still believes.
He
That's what's
still
wrong.
believes.
That's what's up.
Yeah. Hold on a second here. I gotta fix this because my
Yeah, there's a
OCD 's
whole
gonna kill me.
interpersonal relationship between the two brothers in the fucking show. Sketched me out too.
Wh-
But
which-
I actually did.
I didn't get
go
in.
ahead.
I only got 4 episodes in.
I mean, I'm not
But-
fucking shitting on the performances or the writing or anything. I'm
I
just
think
like,
no, but I think I know where you're going. I have not seen the ending, but I kind of thought that's where you're. I think.
Well, we'll get into that
But
next
anyway,
next
yes.
week.
But
Before
regardless, I did get the Willy Wonka vibes with the triangles and circles and squares being Oompa Loompas, and I absolutely felt that very much.
Hey, before I get into another thing here, I want to throw this out here. Patreon.com/Clint likes everything. I've got a Patreon set up, and the money from that helps keep the lights on. There's a bunch of expenses that I have to pay as far as subscriptions, software, and different things to get this show going and keep it going. So you guys helping me out is much appreciated. Bobby is a patron. Thank you, Bobby, for your contribution. I really appreciate it. You've been a great supporter of the show, and actually all the shows. This Patreon takes care of all the stuff, so I appreciate it.
I really like the
Bobby.
video you made.
Oh,
the
thanks, dude.
Patreon Video.
Thanks, man.
It's really good.
Thanks. So
Really sincere.
I just wanted to throw that out there, and if anybody's got any money that they would spend on a coffee, and they're like, I'm getting sick of coffee. Well, you could buy us a coffee.
But I could drink a tall glass of Clint right now.
Ew, that's gross.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's get that out of there.
It'd be thick.
Okay.
Right?
By Clint, he means Tom Capello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
I still believe.
Yeah, you could have Tom Capello, or you could go to Patreon and have a little bit of Tom Capello.
So
On my side.
okay, so recently, on our buddies at Small Screen had a story that said it's been revealed by one of the Halloween Kills producers, Ryan Freeman, that they could make some crossover they could possibly make some crossover in the future of Michael versus Jason. What do you think about that, Curtis? What do you
Yeah,
think?
no, but yeah, they say it might not be in the cards. That's the thing is that the Jason,
Can I stop you right there, Curtis? I don't think they should mix Transformers with GoBots. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they should fucking Freddy versus Jason's one thing, but these are
yeah,
similar composites.
no. Well, and that's the thing too. Like Jason got to the realm of like we were talking about earlier, horror comedy without being horror comedy. Freddy got to the realm of being horror comedy either purposefully or not necessarily purposefully being horror comedy. Michael Myers has always been a straight up slasher. And yeah, to mix those two,
Oh, Chucky versus
I'm sure
Jason.
that would be fucking awesome.
Chucky versus Jason, yeah.
Or Chucky versus like, any of them. That's what I mean. The Chucky's in that same realm. Michael Myers has always been a straight up like they've tried to keep him a straight up slasher villain. Okay, he's not. There's nothing funny about Michael Myers. He's just gonna kill you. Like, and
I don't think there's any comedy injected at all.
That's
in
what I'm
any of
saying. Like,
those. Yeah.
no, and none of that's what I mean. And literally in none of them. And like it you could team Michael Myers up with or versus somebody. You could do the versus thing like that, but it would be tonally way different from. I thought Freddy versus Jason was good. A lot of people might argue opposite, but is from the studios that I think that's about as good as you're going to get. Freddy versus Jason, you're not going to get anything better. But it's got to be fun, and Michael Myers is not about fun. Like it's supposed to scare you. Like maybe not all of them did. Some of them were silly and laughable, but Michael Myers was always a straight up slasher villain killer. He was there to kill you. So like, yeah, totally. I don't even know if that would work. And rights wise, when we get into it, that's a different story.
Yeah.
I don't know why people feel the desire to do that, to get them so close together, because there's very similar composites of each other. They're almost like a DC Marvel.
Well, I mean, that's
But-
what's fun
but
about it. If
that-
you can
I guess.
Yeah,
if you can do Spider-Man versus, or I get Moon Knight versus Batman would be a better one, but Spider-Man.
but either
Somebody
way-
would
no,
argue,
but
and
you're
I'd say
saying-
Spider-Man kicked the shit out of out of Batman, but somebody else to say that Batman's smarter than Spider-Man.
But no, but the idea is like it's like the universal monster. So you wanted werewolf versus Frankenstein. You wanted these are our like kids don't grow up with those monsters anymore.
Okay.
They've got,
Godzilla versus King Kong.
Yeah, exactly. For sure. But like like
I just
that's
wonder
what
what
they
the.
want.
I mean, am I just shitting in the cereal bowl here? But I'm like, what would the motivation of like
No,
Jason versus Michael Myers?
What's the motivation of Freddy versus Jason?
Freddy versus Jason is like they were stepping on each other's dick, and that's why they fought.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, you got to have them both bumping into each other. You got
I mean,
two
all right.
unkillable things bumping into each other.
You could definitely make it work, but it would be so hard because they're so tonally different. Like, I mean, I would rather see Freddy versus Jason versus Ash or something like that, or like even Chucky versus Ash. Like they've been talking about getting Ash into the picture for a while now.
Really?
There's a comic. Yeah, there's a comic, Freddy versus Jason versus Ash, that's really awesome. And like but they're more in line. They're more like horror comedy, like
Right.
But Michael Myers has never been comedy.
Michael Myers versus Jason would have to be very intense. Fun and light won't work with the crossover. Maybe treating crossovers with respect and depth might help with the success of these crossovers. Alien versus Predator series is a complete write-off. God, those movies stunk. Yeah, well, I mean, that's
Yeah.
one thing you could do, though. It's like
But-
maybe it wouldn't work to make Michael Myers exist in a funny universe, but you
But
could make
you could bring-
make Jason serious as fuck,
You-
and that's what you could do.
Mm-hmm.
You absolutely could. So that's the thing. Everybody has questions about Jason's history from when he didn't drown in the river to when he decided to grow up and be a grown man and avenge his mother's death. Okay, if you're not into this, then that's
Mhm.
fine. Okay, just watch some YouTube videos. They'll talk about it. But so there are 20 years or whatever it is when Jason supposedly died and he avenged his mother's death and went and killed all the counselors. Maybe he was doing something else and he went to Haddonfield. I don't know. Like,
Oh,
but
that's a
but it
good
would,
point. That could be. There's going to be zero dialogue
it's-
from these people
had-
fighting, though. At least in Freddy versus Jason, you had one
you
talking
had
shit to
that's
the
a good
other.
point. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Why
So it's
won't
kind of
you
like
die?
it's kind of like Hulk
Yeah.
versus Wolverine. That works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The
Yeah,
Freddy versus
like-
Jason was a Hulk versus Wolverine.
I'm
That's a good
Rajneesh,
point too.
You're on it, dude. Jason versus Predator. I would pay to see that.
Fuck, I'd see that. I was thinking that, but I was like, I'm probably the only asshole that thinks that.
Alien versus Freddy? Nah, not so much. Just go all out and stupid. I don't know about. I mean, I'd go see both, but
I want to see the
I'm not-
alien that comes from a face hugger getting on Freddy.
yeah, it'd be Jason. It would have to be Jason X. The
Jason
space Jason
Yeah.
versus Predator would be fantastic.
Yeah, man.
But you could do that.
Yeah.
The Predator thought he'd be all badass and comes down to Camp Crystal Lake.
Yeah.
Look up here. Look up here. Kill. No.
Well, here's another
And
thing.
he's looking for the the most dominant predator. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's an interesting story out now that Victor Miller is set to reclaim the domestic rights to the franchise from the producer. Basically, Friday the 13th screenwriter wins big appeal over the copyright termination. Wait a minute.
Yep. No. You. Yeah. So
Yeah,
the issue
Victor-
with this.
Yeah, Victor
Go
Miller
ahead.
was once scared moviegoers with Friday the 13th, 4 decades after penning that influential horror flick, which prompted numerous sequels. He scored an important legal victory that may frighten off Hollywood producers. On Thursday, the Second U.S. Circuit Court, of Appeals affirmed a win for him in a copyright termination battle. As a result, he's set to reclaim the domestic rights. So he wrote this.
Yeah, man.
He got paid, and there's argument that's like, hey man, he got paid, they bought it, it should be theirs. But there's other people that are like, yeah, dude, but that's like he didn't know what he was selling, and it wasn't worth that much.
It's
and
like Don Henley
and-
getting his lyrics back.
yeah, and it's like
Yeah.
they've made gajillions of dollars off of these movies and merchandising and everything.
Jesus, merchandise.
He basically, after all this time, he basically is like, he got shortchanged and screwed. And before I go into the next point, Curtis was going to say a whole bunch of stuff. So I have one question. Don't forget to be like, hey Clint, what was that thing you gonna
No,
ask?
go ahead. Go ahead and ask it.
I-
Or do it. Say it now.
When I read this story, I guess I can go back to the main screen. When I read that story, that made me think like, hey, I wonder if the creator of Venom, who got paid $220,
Oh, shit.
he got paid $220 for that character.
That was a great angle on that last
he got-
episode.
yeah,
you guys did.
He got paid
Mhm.
$220, but like, I wonder how long. I don't know what the statute is, but like, how long till this guy can get some of this Venom money, because they're it's killing it in the box office right now. Everybody loves Venom.
It's like how Dave Mustaine feels about Metallica.
Yeah, you're like,
God damn
yeah,
it.
$220 though.
Yeah.
It's like I don't remember the exact history, but I feel like it was a contest. Hey, who can
Yeah.
create the best character? And $220 for you created Venom, and you got $220. Okay, I'm done saying that. Go ahead. Curtis, you're up.
Well, just if it makes you feel any better, the person who designed the Nike swoosh got $200. So it was a college student. But no, so what from my understanding of this is, so he has the rights. to the original Friday the 13th. The original Friday the 13th is not Jason Voorhees.
The mom.
So it does have Jason Voorhees involved. So here's the thing, and this is why it's still technically in legal limbo. If it has any of the original storyline, whoever on the other rights, New Line Cinema or Universal, whoever was fighting, if it has none of those aspects of the original, they can still make a Jason movie. I don't know if they can make a Friday the 13th movie. They can't call it Friday the 13th, but they can still make a Jason movie. Okay, and this
Jason
is why
versus Michael.
Unless they
Probably
could,
why.
unless
Probably
they give
why.
him a little cheese, they're like, okay, dude, here we'll pay you.
always.
Yeah.
But this is why. So if you follow the franchise, there was Friday the 13th, the final chapter, and then
Did you say Friday the 14th?
13th.
Okay.
I mean, maybe I said.
I want to make that movie.
Friday the
14th is the
That's
day,
pretty
is the
good.
next day.
Yeah.
But well, they
I
almost
think there was
followed
Saturday
the
the
next day.
14th, right?
There was
There was
Saturday
the
the 14th.
Saturday the 14th.
Saturday the
movie, yeah.
14th.
That's
Yeah.
great.
It's absolutely a movie.
It's a comedy.
But and so then there was Jason Takes Manhattan, and then there was Jason X, and then there was Jason Goes to Hell. So notice they split. So at that point, somebody owned the rights to Friday the 13th, somebody owned the rights to Jason. Okay, and so that's what they've been arguing over forever.
If you don't have the hockey mask, you ain't got shit. You know what I'm
And
saying?
so this guy owns the rights to the original storyline. So you cannot have a Jason movie. They can still make a Jason movie, but it's got to be completely different. And here's the deal. You got a bunch of millennials. They don't know anything about Pamela Voorhees. They
Nor
don't
do they
care
care.
about Pam. They don't give a shit about Pamela Voorhees. And if you watch the remake, they kind of go into it a little bit, but not even really. And it's just about Jason. So it's almost irrelevant.
They probably think Pamela Voorhees is some kind of MAGA Karen. Anyway,
Yeah,
they're like, get the fuck out of here.
Like it. So he only owns the rights to, but it's still going to be legal hell. That's the thing. I don't think we're going to get a Friday the 13th or a Jason movie for a while because they can say, well, the only reason Jason exists is because of my first movie, and he's going to be arguing that. And fair enough, he's right. But that's the thing is that like
it
Jason
might be a straw man, dude. They might have given him this shit like almost as a fuck you. You know what I mean? Like a legal straw man.
Well, they didn't give it to him. The court awarded it to him.
He wins Friday the 13th, the original script.
Hey, as a millennial, Rajneesh resents that remark.
Oh shit, we didn't mean that.
Okay, fair enough. So you're right. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm a Gen Xer, but only by a few years. So I'm not against you, man. But as a very young person, they would not understand. They know Jason.
You're talking about Xenials, dude. You're talking about Xenials.
Xenials. I like that.
I don't know what does that mean?
Okay, boomer. Exactly.
I think Xenials are after I quit looking.
Hey, you know what?
What?
Sometimes I like to make up words too. It's fun.
Xenials.
Flippity flu.
I think that's
Flippity
after
flu.
millennials is Xenials, and then they get into some crazy ones.
Generation Z. or
Chabbity
whatever.
bing. Chabbity bing. That's a fun word.
Yeah.
Chabbity Bing.
Chitty chitty bang bang.
Oh boy.
But honestly, I'm not saying necessarily millennials, but like, very much younger people. I'm thinking of the kids that I teach. They don't know shit about Pamela Voorhees, but everybody in the world knows Jason Voorhees.
The hockey
so
mask.
they can retool his origin story. They can do something different, and as long as it has nothing to do with the original, they can remake a movie. However, Miller's gonna fight that.
Yeah, of course.
So it's not going.
You got it. It's like
it's going to be stuck in legal hell for a while.
Of course, you're gonna fight it. It's like the Ditko estate, like with the with all the Marvel characters. If there's money out there, you might be able to get a piece.
Yeah, man.
You're gonna get, okay, Marvel, Disney, whoever,
Or
New Line Cinema,
or Bob Ross.
Yeah,
Rest
like
in peace.
And he should get his money. That's what I mean. He should get like He should
Yeah.
definitely get a piece. He should get his money. But that's what I mean. Like, if he's involved in number one, like, and then there are 12 of them now, like, come on, like,
I
man,
th-
you should get 1/12 of the money. Like,
I
there you
think
go.
I think especially for that one, it's like Ditko Estate's one thing. It's like, okay, your old man or your grandpa or whoever, created this character. Yeah, you should inherit some kind of thing. But like, if you actually wrote the stuff, you started the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You
Mhm.
started that universe. Yeah, you should get a little something, especially if it blew up.
For sure.
Blew
For
up
sure. I mean,
to a super mega thing.
These guys need to get paid. I'm not against that at all. But it's just, and I would rather get any individual get paid and his family get paid than any corporation.
Mhm.
Like, I'll just say that right now. Like, I don't know the individuals, I don't know the corporations, but those family members need to be paid. That's the reason those guys work their ass off to create something.
The OG.
So
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Curtis.
no, go ahead. Y'all are creators. I mean, like,
I was gonna say the OG Friday the 13th was the most unique idea of a slasher film. A mom avenging the death of a kid, and all the sexual tension of the campers and shit like that. There really hadn't been something before that.
So,
like that.
so do you guys think that the creator of the early '80s sitcom "Give Me a Break" should be getting a little bit of that Golden Girls money?
Yeah.
Because that's a spinoff of Golden Girls. They created "Give Me a Break," which led to
Were there characters from that? Give me a break.
Blanche Devereaux was
Give me a break. I sure deserve it.
Blanche Devereaux was a regular, like a reoccurring character that would pop up on "Give Me a Break," and she was so charismatic.
Oh shit.
I don't know if you've ever heard of Rue McClanahan,
Yeah, of course.
who is the drummer or our old drummer's stepmother. Yeah. So, anyway, she was a reoccurring character, and then they made the spinoff Golden Girls. So I'm just kind of halfway joking, but it is an interesting question. Should the originator get a little piece of the Golden Girls?
And should Carol Burnett, break off Carol Burnett a little
Mama's
bit of
Family?
that Mama's Family
Yeah,
money?
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
well, does Tracy Ullman get Simpsons money?
She should.
Did she start The Simpsons, or was she
Yeah.
just
It started
Where it
on her
started.
show.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Should Spike and Mike get some of that
Beavis and Butthead
Beavis and
action.
Butthead action, some of the Ren and Stimpy action, some of the a whole lot of action.
Yeah.
But but putting it on their show and then them being the creators, that's I mean,
That's
it
two
didn't
different things.
exist before you. Yeah, it didn't exist before you. So I mean, if you're a creator, you should have a percentage. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a whatever.
It just
Like,
goes.
you should have some cut of
Yeah.
whatever, anything that this money comes in because you created it. It did not exist before you.
If you planted the seed, I agree.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you make some superfruit that feeds all the world, like
The
you
argument
should-
is though, it's like, okay, well, George Lucas
That-
should hold on. George Lucas got paid $4 billion. Should he
Mhm.
get his creation back eventually?
he actively sold. If you actively
Well,
sell,
so did the creator of Friday the 13th for whatever. So did the creator of Venom. They sold it.
No.
Now they
George
didn't know
Lucas
what it was going to turn
actively
into.
Sold it before he. Yeah, exactly.
They didn't know what it was going to turn into. But what
Right.
if Star Wars could turn from a $4 billion franchise into a $400 billion franchise? And there's no way that George Lucas could have known it was going to do that, and he got completely screwed and only got $4 billion for this, and
Hey.
didn't know, he had no way of knowing.
I got a news for you. George Lucas is still getting his beak wet. All right.
Oh yeah,
He's still getting a percentage of that.
I'm just saying.
And
I'm just making an example of like that's the argument some people have. It's like, hey, dude, that guy sold it. There you go.
the George Lucas is a perfect example because he decided early on he was going to retain all the rights and actually be the promotion in the production house for the movies.
Right.
That's actually and keep the merch and all that shit. And it just goes to show you as a creator, there's two different ways you can go. You can go the Ian MacKay, George Lucas. Nobody's ever drawn that. fucking choke on it, everybody out there on the internet. No one's ever drawn that parallel.
None of
Ian
the
MacKay,
none of the Xenials knew who
That's
Ian
right.
MacKay is anyway.
yeah, that Ian MacKay, George Lucas, believe in yourself, stick to the continuity of the
For those of you who don't know who Ian MacKay is, he is the singer for Fugazi and Minor Threat, and he had his own record label called Discord, and they did all their own stuff and released all their own stuff, and they didn't take any help or even believe in charging very much for tickets at the door.
$5 all the way to the end.
So there you go. They were a non-profit band, even though Ian MacKay, if you look him up, he's worth a little bit of money.
Smart ass dude,
Smart ass dude.
like George Lucas, and
Yes.
also a student of the Force, in my opinion. It's just one guy's opinion.
Yeah. Well, oh, what do we got here? Artists need to profit, but I think all ideas need to go into public domain eventually. Without Frankenstein's monster being public domain, we'd never have had Jason Voorhees or Michael Myers.
That would be a catch me if you can if I made those fucking characters. I'd be like, I'm Mary Shelley. See you in court. I made, Jason.
Well, and that's the thing too is that copyright law is changing. So public domain used to be, I don't want to lie to you, but it used to be much different. And the people that actually, do you know who changed copyright law?
Who?
Can you take a guess?
No, just tell us.
Who has more money than anybody in the history of the world?
Was it Bill Gates or what's his name?
Amazon guy?
No, it's not a person. It's a company.
Disney.
Disney?
Hey, there
All
you go.
right. I just learned
So-
Disney owns Hulu in a weird way.
Disney
Yeah.
changed public domain. Yeah, I
Yep.
heard that the I think the difference. I think the
So
Friday the 13th thing was after the copyright law was made, and the stuff with the Ditko stuff is before the Friday the 13th or before the law was made. So they did that whatever the statute of limitations is on the or what it's probably not the right verbiage, but
Legal
anyway,
terminology.
the legal terminology. But that was done like
we
that.
are not lawyers.
No, we are not.
lawyers.
But from what I understand, those Disney characters, all that stuff, or Marvel characters, that stuff is from before that law was put into
But
effect. As
regardless,
where Friday the 13th does make sense because it's after they created that law. So,
but Disney specifically changed the law because Mickey Mouse was about to go into public domain. Mickey Mouse was about 100 years old, or whatever the rule was at the time, and they said that it had to be a certain amount of time after the creator died. So they were going to after Walt died, and now they're actually already advocating to change it again because it's coming up to that point to where they can change it again. And so they're already basically they're trying to keep these characters forever. And what Raj said was true, is that that's what makes things great. You have to give it to the fans at some point. Once they become cultural, they become ours, just like your songs at a certain point become ours. Like whenever somebody attaches emotional attachments to them, they're ours. It becomes, it's our thing. Like, and
they
so,
can't have it. It's mine. Dum dum
Whatever.
dum 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 dum. They
Yeah.
can't.
you don't even own them, dude. Whatever.
They can't have that.
But that's the point, is that at some point, they're the fans own them, and they can carry on with these characters better than fucking corporate suits. Let's be honest. And
Notice we're
imagine all
staying
of-
super fucking quiet as shit on that, Curtis. We're like super duper quiet while you're talking about that.
I don't know. Tom Capella's pretty quiet too.
Oh,
So.
look over here. Yeah. But you still can't
I'm-
use.
but- Disney literally changed that law.
Mhm.
That's like the Disney law. and it's probably gonna happen again. So get ready for it.
I am ready for it. There's no justice in the world. I don't know why people are surprised.
There is justice. It's might makes right. We've gone back to that. It's just not physical might. It's economical might.
Dolores. Give me some of them Skrill bots, Disney. What are you working on over there, Clint?
I don't want
Clint
He
is
just
trying to
searched-
apply for
search-
the rights to Mickey Mouse even as we
that. Right
speak.
now.
MickeyMouse.com. What is that taken? Damn it, it's taken.
Yeah. You should just name the band Mickey Mouse.
TomCapello.com.
Yeah.
Is that taken? Damn, it's taken.
Mr. T Starterkit.com.
I'm trying.
That is a fuck. I just can't get over, Curtis, how tight that ponytail is. I mean, it literally looks like it's pulling the skin back. It's like he looks like one of those V.
It's definitely painful. He worked for that movie.
He looks
worked
like
for
one
every
of those
dollar he
V
got.
characters only because he's got such a tight ponytail. Fucking wickedly fucking oiled traps.
Whenever the guy was
You're
combing his hair,
listening to
he was
Mickey
like,
Mouse. What's that?
Mickey Mouse Radio.
Yeah.
Whenever the guy was combing his hair, like he was like, all right, this is gonna hurt, and he's like, I still believe.
I still believe. The ponytail and through the tears.
And look how curly it is in the back. Like you can see
Fuck
how
yeah,
curly
it is.
Like
It's
that's
glorious.
fucking a nightmare. Imagine combing through that curly hair. Like Natchet knows this shit. Like
Yeah.
that's a nightmare. like fuck that.
Natchet doesn't do that shit. He straight irons that shit first. Then he combs it. Like a gentleman.
Can you imagine?
Like a gentleman would.
Can you imagine straight ironing that and then like letting it just go free in the back? Oh,
Ooh,
That's like an eagle.
yeah. That's right.
Oh boy. Well, you guys,
Gentleman in the front, scoundrel in the back.
Just
Like some kind of,
shave it all off, baby.
yeah.
Be done with it.
you guys want to do some Venom talk?
I've been waiting all night
Venom
for some
2.
Venom talk.
Oh man, here it goes.
It's that time, guys. It's we're at 2 hours 46 minutes. We've given you plenty of fucking bullshit. We've been
pretty
talking
good.
about all kinds of stuff, but now it's time for some Venom. So before we go into that, I just got to throw this up. Don't worry, there's no spoilers yet. It's time for Venom. Let There Be Carnage talk.
Hit that intro again.
Which intro?
The intro.
You know, so you can split it up.
Oh, well, I'm about to do that, but I got to get back in here. Guys, come on.
Yeah,
Come
Clint's
on now.
like,
Quit telling me how to do my job.
yeah, Clint's like, shh.
Guys, we want to thank you guys for joining us. And as always,
And smash.
like, share.
Hey, share is the most important part. We know you guys love us. I appreciate all of y'all's love, but share it. Tell your friends, hey, you want to hear?
Sharing
Yeah.
is caring.
You like bullshit? Come listen to some bullshit. Come on.
Yeah. And Rajneesh, we always appreciate your questions, man. You keep the conversation
You're the
going.
bomb, dude.
We would have had a 30-minute show today if you hadn't have asked us all.
Honestly.
Like,
If you
yeah.
actually send us a picture, Rajneesh, we'll fucking swap you out
Yeah,
with
we'll
Tom
put you up here,
Capello.
man.
do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll put you down here, man. Give us a,
Fuck yeah.
or we'll just throw an R down here. Just a blue square with the R. Right here. We'll just take this. We'll just take this thing and throw it. No, but seriously, send us a picture. We'll put it in there. And we got 7 still in the house. I know that James is going to duck out once we start talking about Venom, so that's happening. Bobby, thanks always for being here. We hope you stick around and everybody else sticks around. So let's see here.
And
Let's.
if not, hey, grab
It-
this video once you watch Venom. Come on and grab it.
That's
See what you
right.
think.
And what are we talking about next week? Just so that the gang can know, Curtis.
Next week is
That way, you guys can watch the movies this week when you get a little time, and then you can be on board with us when we're talking about this stuff.
That's right. Next week is the 11th. So we're talking about What We Do in Shadows, versus Werewolves Within. Werewolves
Ooh.
Within is a horror comedy. What We Do in Shadows is a horror comedy. We're talking about the movie. We might be able to watch the show as well. I know there's a show out there.
Mhm.
We got to see what we can get to, but we're definitely going to talk about the movie What We Do in Shadows versus the horror comedy from this year, Werewolves Within.
Yes, which What We Do in the Shadows is supposed to be hilarious. I haven't seen it, and every one of my friends in the world is
Taika
dude,
Waititi. It's great.
You're like, dude, you haven't seen that yet? Yeah. Also, we may be doing a little bit of No Time to Die
Nice.
conversation because that comes out Thursday here. So Thursday afternoon, I'm going to be watching that movie, and so we may have to talk about No Time to Die.
All right.
Hopefully,
let's do it.
everybody's seen it.
And we will put up spoilers at the end, and we will let you know when it's coming.
That's right. We will tell everyone, hey, spoiler time. So, guys, thanks again. Man, how long can you stretch this out, Clint, before you just jump into Venom? Well, we're done. We're done.
Venom.
So-
Venom.
Venom. Ba-na-na-na-na. So here we go. Why don't you? Oh, okay. We're gonna put a new person.
I love you, Rush.
I know somebody that really wants to hear about Venom and knows a little bit something about
Oh, dude, I need a different one.
being super spicy on a show.
Super spicy.
Yep. Bringing that flavor.
I'm about to bring it in before we get in there.
Mm-hmm.
Flavor. Spicy flavor. I feel the flavor.
There we go. That's better. Oh shit! Hold on, guys. We're coming. I know this isn't very.
You waited this long.
I know this isn't
We're
very
coming,
professional, but
guys.
it's gonna be worth it. I promise.
We're coming now. We're coming, guys. We're coming, guys. Come on, guys.
Which one's
We're
that?
coming, guys.
Oh, damn. That's really good, Curtis.
Yeah, we're coming, guys.
Curtis is making his own Joe Esposito
It's pretty good.
/ Frank Stallone montage for this segment.
Why is he doing that? Because
Take it back.
Ooh, take it back.
Bum.
There's no easy way out.
Ooh, that's some good
There's
stuff too.
no shortcut
Come
home.
home.
For those of you listening on the audio version of this podcast, please don't kill yourself. And I say that with all seriousness, guys. If you
If you're thinking about it,
yeah. If you're thinking about it,
just go listen to Joe Esposito because you're the best around.
Well,
No one's ever
nothing's
gonna
gonna
bring
ever
you
bring you
down.
down.
I like right before the little like slap bass breakdown in that song. No one's ever gonna bring it down. Bow. Down.
my goodness, guys, I promise we're getting back on point.
Frank Stallone's a genius.
Yep. Truly is.
Did he do that one too?
No, that was Joe Esposito. The Joe Esposito Award is the You're the Best Around Award. The Joe Espy. Clint won it
And-
for his appearance on House.
So, Dustin,
Yes.
now that we've got time here, have you and your children watched Big City Greens? Get that fucking thing out of here.
No.
Get that out of my face.
No,
What has he
yeah.
done? What has he done? He is not worth no. Get that fucking thing.
Hot in
No.
the city. Hot in the city
Get that
tonight.
fucking- He has done nothing
All right.
except have hair like that.
We're
Get that fucking
hot.
guy out of here.
He's hot in
No,
the city,
no.
baby.
Yeah.
Dude, look at it though; it's
Well,
glorious.
Yeah.
Name one good Richard Grieco movie.
21 Jump Street. He was on that show.
Hey,
That's
all
not a
of them.
movie.
All of them.
That's not a movie. No, that's not a movie.
all of them were
First of
good.
all,
What was the
Richard
one with
all of
Billy
them
Idol?
is
Huh?
Oh, he was in the 21 Jump Street movie.
Yeah.
He was.
yeah. Did he make it good?
Yeah, he's good. He's on the show.
Yeah. The pause answers my question.
I mean, when
And
I
first of
eat
all,
Greek,
no,
when I eat
no,
Greek
no.
yogurt, Curtis, I hope it tastes like Richard Grieco. Actually,
Well, that's great. That's
And I hope he's
fucking
Greek.
amazing.
Otherwise, that's racist.
Oh, jeez.
Get that fucking guy out of my face.
Hey, man.
Oh,
No.
Sidebar: which DeLuise
Yeah.
brother did you like?
Well, there's
Dude,
Dom.
he was
and
in
who's-
Booker?
Who else?
He was
There's
in
Richard
Night. He was in
DeLuise.
Night at the Roxbury.
Fuck yeah, he was good in that too.
No. Yeah. Fucking yeah. Okay, great. But the best part of that movie was,
Holy
and
shit!
he tipped his hat like so.
Yeah.
Me talking about Emilio Estevez, not Richard Rico. Get him out of here.
No way, dude. He's the man.
Were you upset that he
No,
stole?
he's not. He is.
He's-
not
What's the deal? There's
Get-
something
why
going
are
on
we
here,
fucking
Curtis.
talking
He's
about
been-
some-
Peel this
what-
onion.
What? No, you just said.
He's been in
What's going on
a
here?
Marvel
Why
movie.
Are we, what?
He's been in a Marvel movie.
Well,
What?
he's in the. We're talking about him because he's in the news.
Well, he was in Thor.
What was in Thor? I'm gonna set you on fire.
The
Almighty Thor.
Thor.
See,
I remember that
up
one.
at the top. It's starring Patricia Velasquez, Kevin Nash,
and Greco.
and Richard Grieco. That's
Suave.
right.
He was in the news.
Okay, did he die?
No, the news I'm making right now by talking about Richard Grieco. Come on back. Just look at
What
those
is
eyebrows,
happening?
bro. I get
Again,
lost in those eyes too. He's kind of got a Mickey
When-
Rooney thing about him, or Mickey Rourke. Sorry, Mickey Rooney. Mickey Rourke. He's got like a Mickey Rourke thing about him, kind of.
yeah, except Mickey Rourke successful. The only
That's
thing that's the
true.
only difference.
Preach, preach.
Whenever a major company is like, so hey, Versus, we really dig your thing. You want to go live with us? We're gonna have to like state in a legal document we have mentioned Richard Grieco on our show.
Yeah,
Okay,
they've
we
kind
have-
of like they've contacted us about that. They're like, if you can somehow work in Richard Grieco, you're in.
Is this from Grieco Enterprises
.net.
loser
Yeah.
fucking who cares?
.net. Dude, what if Richard Grieco is one of those 6 people that were checking us out?
Again,
dude.
it proves my point.
Listen,
Like
what
like,
I really am super interested. What's your beef? Did you not like
what
him
has
coming
Richard
on
Grieco done?
season
What has he
3
done?
of
Like,
21
no,
Jump
no, no,
Street?
no, no.
Was he
Okay.
stealing
21
death-
What
Jump
did Richard
Street was-
Grieco do to you,
let's
man?
What did Richard Grieco do for the world? Like, okay, he is famous because of Johnny Depp. Like that's like why y'all keep saying 21 Jump Street. You're just forgetting that Johnny Depp was in 21 Jump Street. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
There were other
Like
people.
who's
There were
like,
other people in
who's
that
famous?
cast, like Jerry
I'm
DeLuise.
sure.
In fact, that was an interesting story arc where Jerry
they've
DeLuise was
all
Johnny Depp's
done
best
better.
friend, and then Grieco comes in, Booker comes in, and like totally like starts
Grieco's
horning
it
in.
up.
God damn it. I'm gonna have a stroke right here.
I mean, come on.
Man, it's like we threw up Tom
Dude.
Cruise or something, Curtis. Just like opened up the
What the
can
fuck
of
are we
whoop
talking
ass.
Dude, I'm putting
I love
Opened
the
up the Curtis
obscure,
can
like,
of whoop
guy.
ass on it.
I'm putting Iron Man in this thing.
All right, that'll work.
Greek.
But fucking like, what are we
Fuck
doing
yeah,
here?
man.
Oh, you fucking.
That's
Fucking Iron Man, dude.
phony Stark.
All right.
Talking phony
Yeah.
Stark over here. Did he wear shoe lifts to play that part also?
It's okay. He's in a mech suit. Like I can deal with it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, it's not Richard Grieco in there. Like Tom Cruise beating
Those
up
are the
people in real life.
thetans. Those are the thetans coming out of his chest. He's got high.
The what?
The thetans. They're like midichlorians for Scientologists.
Oh boy, I'm gonna move that over there so we can see.
That
it.
looks good. That's
Yeah,
good
it's pretty good.
production.
Yeah, thanks, dude.
I like it.
All right, well let's talk about some Venom now that we got Tom Cruise Iron Man in here. All right, guys, this is finally the time you've been here. The clock's ticking, guys. Do you want to keep talking about Richard Grieco?
I feel like Richard Grieco.
Now we're gonna talk about Venom right here. Venom, Let There Be Carnage. What a fun flick, man. I had a really good time watching that movie. I already knew going into it, they're like, you're going to like it. If you like the first one, you're going to like this movie. I enjoyed the first one. Did I think it was an Academy Award-winning masterpiece? No, but I enjoyed it. I had a really good time. I really, really, really enjoyed it. I like Tom Hardy. I think he's hilarious. I would have paid just for the restaurant lobster scene alone, where he climbs in a lobster tank, starts eating living lobsters. That was hilarious. So I like the dynamic between Venom and Eddie Brock, and they kept that going into the second movie. This movie's all about his relationship with Venom and them arguing and having a hard time and learning to get along. And it's this can happen in a marriage, it can happen in a band, it can happen in a business. Anytime you're gonna be in close quarters with somebody, you're gonna start annoying each other, and stuff happens. And I think it's funny, two guys trapped in the same head space, they start to really piss each other off, and going as, and you got the ex-girlfriend situation, you've got all the great things of the lady at the convenience store, and then you got Woody Harrelson coming back as the serial killer, and then you have the introduction of Carnage, and you have all kinds of other stuff coming in. They did a good job with the backstory, showing some of the backstory for Curtis. What's Curtis Cassidy? Is Cassidy, right? Curtis Cassidy?
Cassidy. No, it's not. That's my name.
No, Cletus.
Cletus.
It's Cletus Cassidy. His backstory. And I thought it was cool. I really enjoyed the movie. It was very concise. They need to explain something. They just straight did it. They didn't pussyfoot around about anything. They just very concise movie. Honestly, I think I would have liked the movie a little bit better if it was, instead of being 90 minutes, if it had been 100 minutes. I think there could have been a little bit of buffer. But I'm not saying it was too short. I think it was just right. It was on the edge of being too cut and go. Like they didn't mess around. Like if they needed to make a point, they're just like, okay, this blah blah blah, boom, 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 boom. Very concise movie. Don't take that as a flaw. I still think it was great. So, and then of course the post-credit scene, and of course the hinting at toxin at the end, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that happens. But we're gonna break it down and talk all about it. Curtis, what did you think of the movie? And Dustin, did you see it too?
I did not see it, but I was going to ask you the pacing of it. Do you think there'll be a director's cut where it's like they add in, like it's some kind of a
I don't know.
different pacing?
I don't know. I feel like the universe is getting tired of director's cuts. I love director's cuts because I like the extended
It's almost
vision.
expected now.
Yeah, I think it's cool. Who knows what's going to happen? It's Andy Serkis who's Gollum, who does all the facial acting for Planet of the Apes and all the other stuff. He's got a lot of behind the scenes experience on all ends, from storytelling and acting to directing, and this is another directorial offering from him, and I think he did a great job. I thought it was really fun. I liked the back and forth. I could see it could almost get kind of old maybe for some people. Might be like, this is they're kind of overdoing it with this thing. It's like this is like almost a romantic comedy between Venom and Eddie Brock. But I loved it, and I thought that was hilarious.
That's a cool take.
Yeah,
no one's done that yet.
Yeah, I think it's
a cool idea.
I think it's hilarious. What do you think, Curtis?
No, I did. I definitely thought it was fun, like the first one. So I did not see the first one, and I was very surprised that I enjoyed the first one. What did we watch it last week?
Mhm.
Yeah, I hadn't seen it. I hadn't heard good things, but I watched it, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. The first one was very good. It's again, you got to separate yourself from comics and movies. They're going to go in different directions. It's just the way it's going to go. Rights issues and everything else aside, like storyline, you got to make it fit for a movie. Again, same thing. Carnage was a much bigger villain in the comics, but I really enjoyed this one. It was good. Um, the pacing was good. My son watched the first and the second, and then he liked them both. Um, the rapport between Eddie and Venom is probably what made it for him, and to a degree, kind of made it for me. Like that's the thing. Like you see that relationship in the comics. They hint at it. And it's but they gelled it well, but they killed off Carnage, who is a major fucking villain, and we'll get into that in a minute. But otherwise, it was a very good film. I mean, well, very
Did they leave
entertaining
it
film.
open at all for Carnage to come back?
Well,
Because these symbiotes, they're
yeah,
squirrely.
we'll talk about that. But
Well,
uh,
we'll see. I also, what did you think? I thought also like Carnage is supposed to be like as strong as like Spider-Man and Venom combined. Do you know what I mean?
right,
And then and Venom is and I mean if we go down the line, Toxin's supposed to be as strong as Venom and Spider-Man and Carnage combined. They keep getting stronger. You know what I mean? But what did you think about that? Did that when he
well,
was like, okay, let's do this, and they end up fighting, did you think like, hey, that's nonsense? He would have just gotten the shit kicked out of him a lot quicker, or what?
well, kind of. I mean, he definitely had help. Like he had. I liked how Dan redeemed himself because like when Venom's like, Dan, nobody likes you. You fucking suck. Like and then he redeems himself and he helps out. Like that was good and stuff like that. But again, yeah, it took Spider-Man and Venom to beat Carnage. Like uh Venom hates Spider-Man. Like that's the thing. Venom's not a bad guy. He just hates Spider-Man. He just wants to kill Spider-Man. He doesn't want to kill everybody else. And that's why the whole comic Venom Lethal Protector like was a comic because he's not a bad guy. He just wants to kill Spider-Man. Well, there's no Spider-Man in this one, so it's just Venom versus Carnage, and they just kind of there was other stuff going on. People helped and stuff like that. The good guy won, but when it comes down to it, like that, and this is what I think is going to be the flaw if they continue down this road, because they did. So they set it up as spoilers. Uh, Patrick Mulligan becomes Toxin. So he's the cop that's helping Venom or working with Eddie Brock.
What's funny is they didn't show how he became Mulligan. They didn't show him bite anybody, or they didn't show like it just
Well, he
kind of.
got stabbed with Venom or with Carnage's stuff, and I think that's how. Like
I
again,
guess
like that's
I get you just see his eyes glow, but if you
yeah,
don't know who Patrick Mulligan is and you Google Mulligan, it's like, oh, that's
right,
Toxin,
yeah.
you know.
And but the thing is, like, I don't want to see 3 fucking movies where he fights symbiotes again. They gotta branch. If Venom is gonna be a franchise, like they gotta do something else. Like
Well,
it's good for the first and the second. I know.
speaking of which, you saw the post
I
credit scene.
know.
There's no drag it out and like, hey, we'll talk about that later, dude. We're at fucking we're at 3 hours and 7 minutes. It's go time. Let's talk about some post credit scene stuff. Like
Okay,
like that's going to be the savior of the thing. The other thought
but
and I'm going to pass the torch back to Curtis, but for those who don't know, who didn't like, you shouldn't even be here if you haven't seen Venom yet. Venom 2, Let There Be Carnage, Dustin. But like I'm just kidding. But in the post credit scene, I'm going to set up what happens. These guys, by the end of the movie, Eddie and Venom have to hit the road. They get out of town because now they're known criminals, even though they saved the day, but they're known criminals. Venom had to basically break Eddie. They pass the symbiote through his ex-girlfriend into him while he's in jail, and he busts through the wall and escapes. He had to apologize because they'd been fighting, and the ex-girlfriend had to beg him. And it was like, okay, all right, fine, but he's got to apologize. And then they go back, and then he has to really apologize. It's pretty hilarious. But anyway, busts out, goes, saves the day. And then at the very end, they're like, okay, we gotta get out of town. So they get out of town, and they end up in Mexico. They're in Mexico, in a seedy hotel room with the fan going. And let's see how many we have. We have 5 listening. I hope you 5 people listening at home haven't seen this yet, or have seen this. But anyway, they're in this hotel room, and he's like blah blah blah. He says something. He's like, wait, and Eddie's like, wait a minute, you keep stuff from me? And he's like, of course, yeah, I keep stuff from you, Eddie. He's like, if you had a just a fraction of what my millennium of hive mind information that I've stored, it would blow your brain up. You couldn't handle all the, he's part of a hive mind, which is interesting, like cool. And he's like, let me just show you, let me just give you a taste. And he does this thing where he's going to give him a taste of the hive mind, and you're like, cool. And all of a sudden, everything goes. And and then all of a sudden you're like,
nice effect.
That was pretty good, right? You're like, we're gonna go full screen for that. I'm gonna do that again. All right, here we go. Hold on.
All right, Eddie, I'm going to give you a taste of what the hive mind is.
And yeah, that was all right. All right, let's do that again. That's closer to it. All right. And then get back into the thing.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! So all of a sudden they're in the hotel room. It's the same, but it looks cleaner. It's better, well lit. The ceiling fan is moving different. It's not really fast, crappy. It's a nice, fancy one.
They've got the swan.
Yeah, the towels
swan
on
towel.
the bed
Yeah.
are folded like swans, and they're like, what the hell just happened? And you're like, hey, what the hell just happened? He just gave him a taste of the hive mind. Did they like? And now things are weird. And what I thought is, how there's a history of Venom taking over, and you got Peter Parker ends up asleep. Venom took over. They wake up on the top of a building. It happened in. With Venom too, you know what I mean? Where like Venom also, where like that happens. Sometimes he takes over and then they end up somewhere else. I thought that's what happened. I thought he took them. All right, I'm going to take you for a ride, and then they wake up in a different space. That's not what happened, because all of a sudden you hear the editor of the Daily Bugle. What's his name? It's C. Thomas Howell?
J. Jonah Jameson.
J. Jonah Jameson, yeah.
Yeah, so he's talking on the news. Oh, well, the identity of Peter Parker is,
Of Spider-Man is Peter Parker. And you're like, wait a minute, that's the dude from the newspaper talking. And they're in the hotel room, the TV's on, and they're in a fancier hotel room, but it's the same hotel room. And it's like,
Spider-Man is Peter Parker.
and then it shows the TV, and it's Tom Holland on TV, and you're like, holy crap, we're in the Sonyverse, and we got Tom Holland, who's from the MCU. What in the actual F is going on here? And then and then Venom is like,
That's him.
and then he licks the TV screen, and then it ends, and you're like, holy crap, did they just suck Tom Holland out of the MCU into the Sonyverse, or did they just suck Venom into the MCU? Or is this is a big crack in the thing? Did Venom help do this by using the hive mind trick? Is this just happened to be when Tom Holland screws up Doctor Strange's spell? What the hell's going on here? And then you go home and watch What If. You're like, oh, did Super Mega Ultron just break the universe also at the same time as Doctor Strange? There's a lot of questions out there as to what the hell happened, but it seems as though Venom got sucked into a different universe or woke up in another universe somehow. And so now, whatever the case is, we know that we have Spider-Man and Venom in another universe, in the same universe. So I think we're gonna have a little bit of that before we end up with another symbiote movie as far as Toxin goes. But also that if this is a new universe too, I heard somebody, one of the big YouTubers, saying, did that just completely erase the whole movie, make everything irrelevant? Because everything that happens in that movie doesn't matter because now Venom is in a different universe. Could be. I don't know. So, yeah. Thoughts, Curtis?
No, I mean, yeah, that
or continue
that could be true.
your spiel, because but that's what happened.
Yes. No, no. Well, and that's the crux of it. So, the movie itself is good. They beat Carnage and stuff like that. There's a lot of Easter eggs in there. But uh, the thing is, like, so when that happens, so the Venom even says, "I didn't do that." Whenever
Oh yeah.
the everything changes, and Venom says, "I didn't do that." Like he says,
That wasn't
so it
me.
wasn't. Yeah, that wasn't
Yeah.
me. It was something that he didn't do. So I've seen. It's interesting. Before this, I watched a lot of theories on it on YouTube and stuff like that. Of course, so they are under the opinion that it can't be when in the No Way Home movie, Spider-Man No Way Home, um, whenever Doctor Strange casts a spell, and he's like saying, I want Peter Parker, everybody to forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man or whatever, and Peter says, "Oh, well, what about Mary Jane, and what about my friend Ned, and this and that and the other?" Okay, and they're like, "But look, this is right after um, the J. Jonah Jameson thing is right after Spider-Man Far From Home. That's right afterwards. So how could that work? That doesn't make sense. That doesn't line up
Oh,
time-wise.
you're right. So
We won't know
But
until
well,
the multiverse of madness.
but that's the thing. That's what they say. We're talking about magic here, guys. Like, okay, and he's casting the spell to be before that all of that happened. So if he's casting the spell before uh everybody finds out that Spider-Man is Peter Parker, and then the spell messes up while he's casting that spell, it would be directly afterwards. So they could jump into that multiverse. Okay. I saw other videos where they were saying that uh even or well that didn't happen, and during Loki, if you watched Loki, it's whenever Loki makes a timeline split, and those timelines split and they cross and touch one another, that's whenever Venom and them jump over. That could be true as well. But here's the thing: is that, like, Marvel's not going to give that to Sony. Like, they're not going. Like, that's the thing, that Loki is a Marvel property. They're
Maybe
not
they
going
cut
to.
some backroom Mickey Mouse fucking continuation. Look, we get Mickey Mouse for 100 more years.
yeah, they
You
might
fucking-
be like we'll play in the same sandbox until we get through the Spider-Verse and through the multiverse of
Maybe.
madness. During we'll make it fun for everybody, and then at the end of it, you're gonna end up getting Spider-Man back, and then we're gonna and then we're gonna do what we do. But in the
Maybe.
meantime, we'll have all of this just go interchange, like work together. I don't know. Who knows?
We'll
Yeah,
go print
maybe.
money. We'll go print money.
Maybe they're printing money already, and what I'm saying is that Sony is building their own universe while Marvel already has theirs. So
Because
Marvel's not going to go, okay, take our Loki ideas and do this. What I'm saying is that, like, Multiverse of Madness and Spider-Man No Way Home are they're connected. We already, like, that's, if you
And-
can't tell from right now, they're going to be connected.
and
So-
also they've already pulled in Doc Ock and all that. So it's like they're already pulling in Sony characters.
They probably made some deal
Right.
for all those IPs.
Yeah, they probably just said, okay, we're gonna.
Be right back.
No, but
So
Sony already. That's the thing is, Sony already owns them.
Yeah,
Like,
Sony Sony owns Venom, and Sony owns Doc Ock. So what I'm saying is, like, they're already just hinted.
But if it's like go ahead.
They've just hinted, and No Way Home is supposed to be a MCU movie that's distributed by Sony, but all of the Spider-Man movies have been distributed by Sony. But so this is an MCU movie that's a Spider-Man MCU movie that's gonna have Dr. Octopus in it, which is a Sony guy. So and now they've hinted that Venom is in the same universe as Tom Holland. So are they gonna have Venom in this MCU Spider-Man movie? And maybe Venom is gonna be fighting with Peter? That's a possibility. You could also have it because I doubt he's going to end up with like the Sinister Six or be involved in that. Like,
No, so there have been rumors about that as well. I don't think in this movie, at all. So, and here's the deal too. So if it's like movies in the past, Sony gets all the movie rights. That's the deal. They have the movie rights. Marvel gets all the merchandising rights. So Marvel's like, you want to put Doc Ock in there? Fucking put Doc Ock in there. We'll make some Doc Ock toys. You want to put Green Goblin in there? We'll make some more Green Goblin toys. Let's do it.
yeah.
Okay. So Sony doesn't have the merchandising rights. Marvel has the merchandising rights. Sony has the movie rights. So they're going to get all the movie property money, and Marvel's going to get all the merchandising money. And if Star Wars has taught us anything, merchandising can get you way more money than
Right.
movie rights. And that's the thing. Like giving it, with Sony's doing their own thing. They're establishing that they're going to do their own thing. They're going to do their multiverse, and Marvel's on board with that to a certain degree. But Marvel is not going to give them anything like Loki or like it. This is coming from.
I'm not saying anything about any of the MCU people appearing in a Sony movie. That I'm not saying that at all. That's,
no. Okay.
I'm not talking. I'm not talking about Thor appearing in Venom. I'm talking about Venom appearing in Thor.
Maybe
I'm not even
maybe
actually.
Sony ain't got
I'm not.
Disney money.
I'm not even talking about that. I'm actually talking about Venom appearing in Spider-Man, which is
Venom,
MCU.
Yes, Venom will appear in Spider-Man.
You think he's going to be in No Way Home?
I think to a very, it might be. It's probably going to be like a after credits trailer, or after credits scene,
A post-credit scene?
Yeah. I don't know, but
because Venom lives in the same universe with Doc Ock and Sandman and all these other people that are probably and Electro that are going to be appearing, also going to be appearing in an MCU film.
So here's what we're talking about. Okay, baby. We just did this last week. Let's do it again.
I don't know how I feel about all this shit anyway. It feels like fucking Star Trek popping up in a fucking Star Wars movie.
Why is
some shit?
Why does it feel like that? Spider-Man was in the Avengers.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to bring down the vibe, but I'm all about Venom fighting Spider-Man, like having a legit.
Well, what I think's going to happen, I think that No Way Home is because I think Peter's going to be kicked out of the MCU, and there's no way home. Like they're like, okay, you can have Spider-Man for one more movie, and after that, he's going back to the Sony world. And I think
good one.
And
for
I think,
a while,
yeah, and I think that he's gonna for a while because they got Kraven the Hunter, they got Venom, Carnage, Toxin now teased, and now you've got a little appearance of Tom Holland in there too. So I think they're just doing that so that they could say, cool, at the end, Peter probably is going to sacrifice himself and get sucked into another universe, which is a non-MCU universe, and there's no way home from that. And then after that, the next movie is probably going to be Venom 3 is probably going to be Venom versus Spider-Man. And then at the end, Mulligan's going to appear at the last second, and or going to break it up because Mulligan's going to appear when Venom and Spider-Man are fighting, and it's going to end up turning into the real threat, and then you're going to have Spider-Man and Venom team up because they can't beat Toxin on their own.
Right.
That's probably what's going to happen. That's what I think. Maybe
I don't know. No, I just don't think they're going to do that. That's too much for No Way Home. I think they're going to tease.
No,
I'm not saying No Way Home. I'm saying saying Doc Ock and Sandman and all this shit's going to go down in No Way Home, and then by the end of it, he's going to do something to save the day, and it's going to cause him to get stuck in the Sonyverse, and then the next movie 4 years from now is going to be Tom Hardy and Tom Holland over somewhere else.
Do you think they traded like fucking X-Men for Spider-Man, like fucking
X-Men
like
was Fox, dude. X-Men was Fox.
That's right. Sorry.
No.
Did you notice how much contempt was in that? X-Men was Fox.
Yeah,
bro.
and Hulk is Universal.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but w- w- I just I don't know. Like I kind of see what Sony's doing, but I'm not sure.
I know what they're doing. They're like teaming up with Disney, and they're like, "Watch this, fucking nerds!
Well, no, they are, but they're
Give me your
building their own
money."
thing. They're building their own thing, and it's entirely built within the Spider-Man universe.
Yep.
And
Which
I just
which is
like
okay because he's going to get stuck in the Spider-Man universe, and then they'll have their Sinister Six, and Spider-Man will be back there.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, it's I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna work. Like I like again.
I guess I'm not
Marvel,
mad at it as long as they learned all their lessons. Sony, you know.
As long as
They
they don't
kinda
have
went off the rails.
emo
Yeah.
Toby in there, it'd be fine.
Well, Garfield's gone off to make Rent anyway, so
and here's the deal. So
I thought he was.
When,
I thought he owned. I didn't think he was a renter. But
when
You seen
Venom
that?
said, I have seen that.
yeah, he's in the new musical about the guy who wrote Rent.
oh, I haven't seen that.
He's not in Rent. He's about the
About the dude that made Rent. About the looks pretty
I
good.
wrote Rent. Yeah,
Andrew
he wrote
Garfield,
Rent. And
take
then
me
one time I wrote
seriously.
Rent.
I'm in
and
a
I had-
musical now.
Oh, we're down to
And I
5
had to
years
write-
now. Oh, we're at 3 hours and 25 minutes.
Yeah, man. It
So-
took us that long to talk about Rent. Worth it. You're welcome.
Curtis,
So, here's-
what do you got?
No. So here's the deal. So whenever they say Venom says, he says, we are a hive mind, we cross across universes, which and that like again, I don't think Marvel agrees with that. So I think that's a Sony thing that a hive mind symbiote can cross across universes. But anyway, according to the Sonyverse,
Dude, I'm sure
the
that
reason
I'm sure they check all of that stuff with them. They're like, "Hey, we're going to make this thing cohesive."
and I think Marvel's like, that's fine. You go ahead and do that, but we're not going to do that. Like I agree. I'm not saying that Marvel's like gonna outright be like, that's fucking bullshit. But at the same time, Marvel's like, that's your thing. That's not our thing.
I'm pretty sure that like Amy Pascal and Kevin Feige worked this out. They made a new deal, and they had the other guy. I can't remember the other guy's name who had his hands in the cookie jar a lot, but they pretty much said, okay, they gave Kevin Feige a lot more control over what's going on, and they're like, we're going to give you for this much money in this deal, we're going to do this and this, and they're gonna let him quarterback how this all goes together and how it works.
Like
So,
John Favreau
Well-
this. John Favreau, Dave Filoni this.
I mean, good. I mean, I hope that's true. But there's a video of Pascal going, yeah, Venom's in the MCU, and Feige goes, I'm like, no, he's not. Like,
Do you think
yeah,
No.
that's also because that's a spoiler. That's a spoiler from the post credits scene. So
I don't. Again,
Do you-
and I'm just being pessimistic.
Yeah.
I don't see Marvel giving them any inch. Like I don't see Marvel
so
giving Sony.
Clint, are you basically
any-
saying Spider-Man No Way Home is kind of the breakup sex for the MCU of
Yeah.
Spider-Man?
that's exactly
He's
we've
for a
gonna
been,
kick
while.
back
For a
over.
while, yeah.
that's what
They
it
made-
is. We've been
Okay.
we've been doing we've done
All right.
3 films with Spider-Man. The deal is up. They're
Yep.
like, okay, we're gonna we'll end with this. We'll go out gracefully.
Mhm.
That's
And
what it
that's
is.
what
They borrowed Spider-Man they've done 5 movies with Spider-Man, and then they're doing
That's
this
true.
because
Yeah.
he's been in a bunch of Avengers and other things, Iron Man's and shit. So
That's what I'm saying. Like, why are we arguing? Like,
we're not arguing.
No, I don't think Venom's besides maybe a post-credit scene in like No Way Home, which happens to have Doctor Strange in it. Like, so technically he would be in the Marvel universe or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't see Marvel giving Sony anything.
They
like, at
might
all.
do some fucking Avengers Endgame shit where like Venom's here and there's a scene with the.
I think he'll show up and help him. And
That'd be cool.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's what I
So
think.
I think that's what I'm saying. Like, I think the Marvel MCU is like saying, let's see what the Sonyverse does. If the Sonyverse is successful, Marvel's going to be like, hey, what's up? Let's go. All right, what's the problem here? Like, But if it's just like a bleh, they're gonna be like, let's buy Spider-Man.
I think they said we'll let you have Spider-Man for one more movie if you help us do a smooth transition where we make it a smooth transition that makes sense and helps us
I agree.
set up our universe. Okay, cool. How do you want to do that? I don't know what would work. Well,
Yeah.
we got Venom is a big character that did really well. It was just a surprise breakout movie that we didn't know was going to do that well. It did like 800 million. Maybe we could do that and set all these things up.
Yeah.
And now, and here's the deal. At the same time, if Venom, they have the symbiote that can speak across universes, that means that whenever he says, "Oh, that guy," and he licks the screen, he's thinking or he's remembering not our Venom, not the current Venom.
He's remembering a different Venom's experience with
memories. He's remembering Topher Grace's memories of Venom in Spider-Man 3.
That's pretty good.
Boom goes the dynamite.
Interesting.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a good way to tie it all up.
Yeah. That is absolutely true. And I hadn't even
It's not his.
It's not his own memory. It's and I was thinking that I was like, is this a different symbiote maybe that fought, but it wouldn't be Venom. If it was somebody else. But if it's a different, if they have a hive mind through universes, then it is the one from Spider-Man 3.
They might be like in the Bible, I am Legion. They might be like that.
And Topher Grace, go ahead.
Oh no, that's like the idea.
Yeah.
They're like, "What are you, devil?" Blah 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 blah. He's like, "I am Legion." In other words, I'm all of them.
Yeah, it's a hive mind. It's what a hive mind is. It's like the Borg.
Mm-hmm.
Yikes.
And Topher Grace is on Twitter as saying, "Yeah, I'm in Spider-Man 3." Now, everybody thought he was joking. Or No Way Home, not Spider-Man.
Yeah, maybe he's not. Bitches.
But
maybe he is. Maybe he shows up.
Exactly. He straight up said like, "Yeah, I'm in there." Like, and everybody's like, "Ha ha 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 ha." And maybe he is, because what other ways are we explaining it? You can't make a multiverse and just disregard Spider-Man 3, especially if you got fucking Thomas Hayden Church
I was gonna say
in there. Like, you can't just do that.
And there's people that think he's going to be in it because there's some shots of electricity, and then you see sand come through it. So and he again, we talked about it last week. He got forgiveness from Peter. So is he going to step in and save Peter because he's like, "Hey, Peter forgave me for killing his uncle. We're buddies now. I'm going to save his ass." I don't know why he talks like that, but he does.
And what'll piss comic fans off more than Spider-Man No Way Home sucking is if they're like, "Hey, you know what? This counts, but that doesn't count." Comic fans are all about continuity.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to bring this in and you're just going to completely disregard Spider-Man 3, like, that's stupid. So
maybe
that makes sense. If they're actually doing that, that makes perfect sense, and it's a smart way to do it. If they're not doing that, they need to go ahead and fucking fix it now, because they got till December 22nd or whatever it is, and fucking fix it, because that's the way to do it.
They can retcon that shit some other way. Like what?
They fucking better.
Yeah, that they'll do what they're gonna do. Either they'll fumble the football, move it down the road. I don't know. Yeah, come on, Curtis.
Yeah, you sounded like Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, dude, I think you ended on a great.
You did
great
tie it
note.
all together.
You tied it together with the with that means that Venom in Venom 2 remembers Tom Holland because of Topher Grace, the Venom or the Spider-Man 3 version of Venom, knowing because they have a hive mind. Awesome observation. Curtis puts his glasses down, much like a mic drop. He's like, boom, in your face, people. Good observation. And I think it's on that note, I think it's time to wrap this thing up because Dustin's got to hit the road. And we've been on for 3 hours, 33 minutes, and 33 seconds at the time. So I think that is a sign. It is time. So, as always, guys at home,
like, share, subscribe.
facebook.com/Clint likes everything.
That's right.
Says we're still
We
on
got it.
air.
We got a we have a website that I'm working on that's going to be called ClintLikesEverything.com. That's going to have all of my shows. I've got and anything that even music stuff that Dustin and I are working on. You know, we for those who don't know, we used to be in Riddling Kids back in the old days, and we're still working on music. So we should have some new stuff. I'm gonna put this in the middle. Have some new stuff in the works soon. So I'll have links to that. I got verses. I've got answering for a friend on Thursdays with Mia, and you know, I do stuff with Small Screen, and I do separate reviews and entertainment news videos. So I'll have all of that at ClintLikesEverything.com. I got the URL purchased, but I'm working on the site right now. We'll have that all up, and we're going to be back every Tuesday night for another episode of this fun show, and we always appreciate having you guys. So again, Curtis, where can we find you, buddy?
You can find me here Tuesday nights.
Yeah, Tuesday nights right here. Dustin, anything?
You'll never find me.
I like the sound of that.
He's off the grid.
That's right. And me, you could find me at I'm the OG Clint Baker at either Instagram or Twitter, and you can just do a search for Clint Baker. You'll find me on Facebook, and feel free to message me on any of those if you have anything to say about this. If you got any requests on things you'd like to see in the future, comment on this video, and we'll check that out. And man, had a great time with you guys. So I guess we're gonna get out of here. So
Adios.
yeah, and also, why don't you let us know what you thought of Venom? We'd like to hear about it. So we'll talk to you guys soon. Outro video time. Boom.